Hey guys, what's going on, man? Sorry, I'm a little bit late. Normally I get on at 1 minute
Hi, how's it
past
going?
so that I can get everything sorted out. Guys, guess what? We beat Liverpool yesterday, and I can't believe it.
There
I,
you
for
go.
one, I said Liverpool 2-0, and I was being nice. Yeah. So welcome to everybody. Welcome to the panel. Tony, how you doing?
I'm good, brother. Feeling much, much better than the weekend, that's for sure.
Yeah,
A very big pick me up this midweek.
it definitely was. Ebony, you on fire from that result yesterday?
Yeah, to be honest, we were quite lucky, but we were lucky that Firmino didn't score in the early stages because of that pass, that kick out from Martinez, and then he got his foot on it. But yeah, I'm happy with the win. I'll take the 3 points. But is this a momentum that can go on to beat Man City?
Yeah, and that's the key question right there. I mean, that's the reason why we're having this conversation now. But I just want to say hey to the guys in the chat, David, K, 18, Wagwan, what's going on, lads? Overall, let me get your thoughts and opinion about the game overall, and then we can talk about the players. There's only three of us, so we can cover each players as we can. Tony, what was your overall thoughts of the game?
So it was not a brilliant performance. It was not a game full of offensive endeavor, but it was a backs against the wall from the very first minute performance of solid defending. The my man of the match was Gabriel Martinelli, Emi Martinez, excuse me. And he pulled off some amazing saves. But let's be honest, we were completely outplayed for a long portion of that game. But we were resilient, and we took our opportunities, and we actually reversed what normally happens to us, because it's normally us that are seething because of the mistakes our defenders have made, and actually we profited from the mistakes Liverpool defenders made. So it's a great feeling to have beaten a top four team, the current champions.
top team.
Yeah. Well, I'll take any of them. So top 4 team, top 2 team, doesn't matter. It's a top team in the country. We've had a win against a backdrop of losing our to our worst enemy. And it does, as Ebony says, lead us into some kind of confidence going to our big FA Cup semi-final.
Yeah, and for those of you in the chat, we're going to be doing a live watch along on Saturday, so it's probably going to be all the panel members. I've invited all the panel members. I'm going to be Saturday, so it's probably going to be.
So that was me.
Yeah. I'm going to be away on holiday for the next week, so I'm bringing my laptop. So I'm still going to be around. We're still going to be doing a session. So that's going to be fun. So I'm just inviting everybody. I've sent invites out to everybody, so I'm just going to see who turns up on Saturday, and we'll just make it fun. But outside of that, I just want to say what's going on to Vincey, the boy in the house. What's going on, brother?
What's up, Mr. Roberts?
And you know what? Listen, well done for not telling your wife that they were beating us at the Tottenham Stadium. You kept that one in your back pocket and got away with it that day. So well done to you, brother. And yes, David, what's going on with you, David? David said Arteta did his homework. He did, and we're going to talk about that as well. What do I think of Claude's comments? Didn't you see my message? I put it all over social media, mate. As you know, I'm not one to throw mud and dirt at anybody. I don't want to create that kind of channel or the kind of brand with 101. We're not like that. But I did put out a statement on YouTube, on Twitter, and on 101 and on social media, just stating that realistically, and it wasn't just Arsenal, I was having a go at Chelsea fans, because with Chelsea fans and how racist they are, I never hear any of my friends talk about their fans' behavior or call out their own fans. So I wanted to come out and call out our fans when they're out of order, when they're wrong, when they're being racist, And I just wanted to put it out there because I weren't going to be one of these people that hide behind a desk, hide behind a keyboard when your team are messing up. If they mess up and it comes to do with discrimination, racism, you have to stand up and you have to make people accountable. And personally, I don't know how he recovers from this, but what I do know is if that's what's going on and there's a circle of fans that are like that, I'm sure that those people will flock to him. But good luck to them. That's not the message we want to be sending out. The Emirates is the most multicultural stadium in Europe. There is no football stadium with the diversity, with colours, females. There's more females at the Emirates than there is in any other stadium in Europe. And quite frankly, I'm proud of what the Arsenal fan base has been able to do over the last decade. But, you know, things like that, I'm glad that Robbie rooted it out and dealt with it accordingly. I know some people are saying...
I think it's apt that, you know, this has come out at this particular time because quite clearly, you know, we're in a heightened sense of awareness about matters of racial, you know, integration and segregation, where we see things in a polarized situation now. Everybody's on their guard, talking about Black Lives Matter all the time. You know, we've been on the marches. We've been even just prior to this show. You know, we've seen a program on ITV saying about has Britain changed since the Stephen Lawrence murder, and it's put people on such heightened sense of awareness that, you know what, I do recall when people used to say those derogatory things about people in Arsenal, at Arsenal back in the day. And, you know, I grew up in a time when our players were receiving lots of racist comments. You know, I grew up, you know, literally my idol growing up was Cyril Regis because, you know, I went to the same school as him in Kensal Rise. And it was like, you know, now we can look back and go, actually, some of these cats, they don't even know what they were doing. They still don't know what they're doing. And so it comes out of them, these racist comments, and they don't realize, oh, actually, you know what? It's not a black person, but it's a person of another color. And therefore, I shouldn't be saying things against those. You know, we've got this whole culture of, well, is something anti-Semitic right now, you know? And again, you know, we've seen Nick Cannon getting sacked from his job because of anti-Semitic rhetoric. And it's because of this heightened sense of what is racism? How does it show itself? And because of that, we just have to be so aware that, you know what, everybody has now got to be aware that, you know, where there's no place for that any longer.
For real. I wanted to get Ebony's point on it, but she's just flunked out on me, so hopefully she'll be back. What's going on, Alex? Good to see you back. Please, guys, if you're not subscribed to Alex, please check out his channel. The description is right there, Cannon for the TV. What's up, Dubs? These boys are going to get smoked on Saturday. Bro, I said we were going to get smoked last night, and that didn't turn out really well for me, did it? Tom Aston, big shout out to you. Big shout out to Tony Cox as well. Proper pugless boy in the house who actually said that we were going to beat Liverpool.
Yes, at the start of the restart, when everybody was like, oh no, we can't beat them teams. And I was the first one after being lost out the track to say, them men are going to be on holiday. And we're going to have an opportunity like we'll never have again.
I mean, the thing for me is I kind of still feel really bad because the team has let us down. Where was this performance on Sunday? But if we'd have won on Sunday...
We played better on Sunday.
Yeah, we did. If we'd have won on Sunday and lost today, we'd end up with the same amount of points. So when I looked at it like that this morning, I was like, I'm not even worried about it. But the only thing is, it swung that 6-pointer between us and Spurs. So, you know, St. Tottenham Day, which we look forward to, finishing above Spurs. We still don't know whether that's going to happen at the moment. But really, Wolves is the team in that pole position. Wolves is in that Europa Cup position, and they need to lose one out of their last 2 games. And we need to, I think we're 3 goals behind them in goal difference. But basically, if we win our last 2 games, and if they lose one of their games and we score more than 3 goals, then we could finish up in 6. That's how it works. But I hate it when we're not in control of our own destiny. It really doesn't. We've got ourselves into this, and it's a little embarrassing. But guys, whatever will happen, will happen. It's just people need to understand that regardless what happens in the league position, the Champions League money or the Europa League money does count a lot for our activity in the summer. So we'll have to see what happens there, especially with these bonds being released. I'm just going to have to wait to see what they say at the ATS meeting. Ebony, I didn't get your feedback on the Claude situation on AFTV.
I thought it was a bit low, to be quite honest. It's for whatever people want to say about it. It is a racist comment, as far as I'm concerned. And if you think about the connotations to what his comment was towards Son, and if you take into consideration that, we do have, people who sell DVDs who happen to look like Son, that's why he made it. And yes, maybe he thought it was a joke. Maybe he thought it was funny. Maybe Robbie at the time didn't realize what he was saying, whatever. At the end of the day, what he said was below the belt. And, Claude needs to, I don't want to slate him too much, but he needs to take a look at himself, really. It's just uncalled for. And taking into consideration that, unfortunately, every team has their fair share of racist fans, whether people like it or not. And that includes our team. That includes amongst our fan base.
But the difference is, Ebony,
right.
The difference is, Ebony, we've got to call it out. Chelsea fans don't call them out.
Of course, and it. No. I mean, Chelsea fans don't call out their fans. They're just like support their fans. But at the end of the day, when we see it, we call it out. I don't care how hurt people are. If you're called out, simple as that. And Claude, quite rightly, was called out for his comment. It wasn't funny.
So, guys,
I want to just say something real quick. This is real quick, and I know it's on the back of what Claude said, and it's just pertaining to people. I've realised, and I've known this a long time. Some people think that if I call a white person a honky, I'm being racist. Yeah, and you have to understand, people who are listening, if you don't, that black people cannot be racist to white people. Yeah, racism in its definition is not name calling. Yeah, so I think, when people turn around and go, "Oh, he's only calling him a name, it's not really racist." Well, yeah, it is only a name, enough. And it isn't really racist. It's more a prejudice, really. But there's a racism because it's a white man calling a person of color. And if you understand truly what racism is, you won't turn around and say, "Oh, well, but black people have been racist to white people," because you don't understand what racism is. And if you don't understand what racism and what I'm saying, you need to go and find a definition of it. Go look on my YouTube channel at Pugilist Boy, and you'll find out the true definition of what racism is. It's only towards black people mainly, and it's mainly by white people.
And when you think about it, it's a lot of it really comes down to uneducation. I mean, there's a few white people now that really understand where their origins came from in terms of Africa, and white people moving over to colder countries, and the pigmentation of their skin over time was obviously what caused them to be more pale and to be white. So some people who are educated, some white people understand this. A lot, I would say probably 80-90% of white people don't understand it. So you're actually, we're all one. We're all one race. We're all one color. We was originally like that. Again, Sam Golden talked about Jesus. How can Jesus have blonde hair and blue eyes? In that region of the country, in that region of the world, nobody has blue eyes and blonde hair. So it's just the things that we've been taught through time and through history, that everything is painted white, and actually it isn't. And that's because that's the way how a lot of people centuries ago wanted you to see the world. They wanted you to see it through the eyes of a white person. And unfortunately, that stems down through centuries and centuries of education. So It is what it is. But look, at the end of the day, we're all one. We always have been. And the people that start
shit.
and what? You're all right, Ebony. Ebony.
We can hear you. You're not on mute, Ebony.
So guys, listen. Let's move on and talk about the game now. So overall, let's before we really go into the player ratings, let's talk about the tackles, shall we? Let's see if I can get this picture up, and it's not a good one. Where are we here? Here we go. Right, let's get this picture up. So guys in the chat as well, what's going on, Hi Braguna? Good to see you, bro. Good to see you, man. Guys, look at this. Now, by all accounts, that was a deeper tackle than what Eddie Nketiah's was. And we also talk about, let me see if I can bring up the other one. Yeah, this is the one from the day before. So I actually mentioned this on my YouTube channel before, which is, can I see if I can do this one? Yeah, this is the one that I talked about the day before. Now you can see he's actually behind the knee. And let me see if I can bring Ebony back. Ebony, you back? Yeah, Ebony's back. So this one is behind the knee. But we're at a situation where when I put that video out and I said Arsenal are being targeted, how can we not say that we're not being targeted? Because when we see things like this that other teams are doing, and it's not even going to VAR. So it's got to come down to the refs. It's got to come down to a bias from these referees that are throwing out the fact that, quite frankly, let's throw the book at Arsenal and leave everybody else alone. And I'm not saying that leaves everybody alone. There are teams that get these calls against them. But the fact of the matter is, I'm swapping in and out Ebony here, but the fact of the matter is, like, this is awful. That is a complete connection. Do you remember when I said to you on Eddie Nketiah's red card, I said the contact was so minimal that the player didn't even have a mark on his sock? Because obviously we know he pulled out. Here, Saka has not pulled out of the tackle. His leg is in the air. If that leg actually is in the grass, the turf, that leg is broken. That leg is snapped in two. Tony, what's your thoughts on that? And guys in the chat, let me hear you.
I can't stand looking at the picture because it just shows me that, the people who are running this VAR system are so inept. It's just, how can you not go back after what, you see that picture and you can't retrospectively say, hang on a second, we got that wrong. So I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to give you a red card because you can clearly see that's an error. That's a bad error. I know there's some things you can't do. Like, you can't, if you miss the goal line clearance or, a goal that went in, you can't just go around and say, okay, well, we're going to change the score of the game. But this, you can actually do something. You can actually go and say, you know what? We looked at this, because the same way you can look at a red card incident and say, no, it's not a red card, we're going to rescind it. You should be able to go, actually, there was no punishment made, but quite clearly that was wrong. But this whole Arsenal getting the short straw with decisions. I mean, it goes back to me as far as George Graham, because George Graham was the whipping boy for the FA back in the day. When we all know, all managers, people like Alex Ferguson and his son were in all manner of dastardly deeds, but no one was getting raps like George Graham. Yeah. So it's just one of many things over the years we just keep seeing time after time after time, inept refereeing in our games, us getting that unpreferential choice of referee in vital games. You just know when we're going to be in an important game, we're getting Mike Dean. And you're like, oh, Jesus Christ, here we go again. Yeah. As soon as you hear Mike Dean in an important game for us, 12 men. There we go.
Yeah. Totally agree. I mean, that's just, you can't get any clearer than that, can you? And the worst thing about the Burnley tackle that I showed and this one is that what the FA are supposed to do. Let's get rid of that picture now. What the FA are supposed to do, Ebony, these questions to you, is the FA are supposed to, if the ref misses it, if the lineman misses it, fourth official misses it, the FA have the right to, a couple of days after, review it and still issue a red card, 3-match ban. But not even.
What's the point? Sorry, what's the deal that the FA won't do that? What's the deal that the FA will not exercise that? At the end of the day, we're supposed to have VAR. Okay, that's crap as far as I'm concerned. I don't even know why VAR is even there if it's not going to be used for that purpose. You got the ref, who, I'm sorry, like most of the refs in this country. When you actually look at this ref, you'll understand why there were no refs in the World Cup 2 years ago. That's how poor the refereeing is in this country. That, to me, is a straight red card. Okay, Saka is lucky that his leg isn't broken, and it's just a pain. Okay, so as far as I'm concerned, you know, the FA, forget the FA, because the FA are not going to review shit. They're not going to. Forget it. All right. So now it's that. So ultimately, it's down to the ref. The ref cannot turn around and say that he didn't see it. It's quite clear that Trent actually went for his leg. Okay, maybe it wasn't intentional, but however, if an Arsenal player did that, straight red card.
Yeah, because Eddie's wasn't intentional. He just came on the pitch.
Exactly. You know, it's like when you look at the Eddie situation, it's like, what for? Well, why is he sent off? But, you know, as far as I'm concerned, just like the other refs in this country, the refs are muppet. And, you know, to see that in full view and not even it was a yellow card, wasn't it? It's a straight red card. Red card.
I think Stephen makes a good point here. And I talked about this 2 weeks ago when I talked about Formula One. And I said, Formula One, with the officiating, they moved it away from the stewards and they decided to give the video evidence and the penalties to be reviewed by a section of ex-racing drivers. And Charlie Whiting was in charge of that. Mark Blundell was in charge of that as well. And it's been perfect ever since. No one's had any problems with any decisions that has gone to any driver who was seeking to have an advantage. And for me, the one thing that needs to be put here is you need to have ex-referees in charge of those VAR decisions, because the guys in there at the moment are not ex-referees.
They haven't got a clue.
So guys, let's talk about the players now. Let's talk about, first of all, Martinez. Guys in the chat, throw at me numbers for Martinez. Tony, what would you give Martinez out of 10? Do you want me to go first, Tony?
If you want, I don't mind going first.
Okay. So I was going to give him an 8, but then I had to give him a 7 because he made a slight mistake at the beginning, but it didn't cost us a goal. But you know what? I'll play a mediator. I'll give him 7.5. He was almost guilty for a mistake, which kicked the ball out too late, and Firmino chased him down, got contact with the ball, and the ball hit the post. Now, I say that goalkeepers are judged on their mistakes. Now, Martinez hasn't made any. When you consider how many starts he's had, he ain't made any mistakes. This was nearly his first, but it didn't result in a goal. And he still, by the way, guys, hasn't caused any mistakes that had led to any goals since he's been wearing the shirt as our starter. So I'm not going to punish him for that, but I will give him a 7.5. And he couldn't do much about the opening goal. The movement was stupendous, and people are saying David Luiz didn't block the cross that was coming in. Guys, we were sitting ducks. We couldn't do nothing about it. When a team is passing the ball that quick, when a team is moving the ball that quick, and they're running into space, there is absolutely nothing. We were lambs to the slaughters. So listen, I'm not going to blame him for that. But guys, I want to say though, Martinez reacted well to the tip of Salah's shot from close range, which went over the bar. Again, Keita's long range strike, another good save, another good stop from deflected Trent Alexander shot, which was tipped. That's got to be one of the saves of the season, but he just makes it look so easy, and he's doing it every week. So for me, 7.5. Tony, you got the conch.
For me, the guy gets a 9. And the only reason he doesn't get a 10 is that kick. That kick apart, he's perfection. He doesn't miss anything. So I don't know how you managed to drop from 10 all the way down to 7.5. Because really, in a game like that where they had 28 shots at goal, did you realize that? 28.
Yeah. Actually, I think it was
only
officially
one.
31. I think it was officially 31.
Okay, and only one went in. And he only made one mistake. So the one mistake out of 28 leaves, for me, that's a 9. That's a 9. And you know what? That save that we know, that long save, I have watched that like 20 times now. The ball diverts off an Arsenal player. If you look at his starting position, the footwork is amazing because he knows I have to move my feet before I make that dive. Otherwise, I'm not going to cover the far post where the ball is ultimately ending up. So you look at that goal again. I ask you, I beg you, look at the goal again. Look at his starting position. He's on the near post. The ball is going to the far post. No one can just dive and make that. You have to make an adjustment of your feet.
Brilliant.
Oh my God.
Brilliant.
It's a Gordon Banks worldie for me.
Yeah. It's a brilliant
worldie. So yeah, 9 and 4 for saving our bacon so many times in the same game. It's a 9, man.
All right, you know what? That 7.5. I have to pump it back up to. I'll go 8 and I'll get 8 because I chastised it for that. It didn't cost us. I'm going 8.5 for that. Tony, I hate when I have to go back. Do you know why? Because I have a go at Troops every time Troops does this with Robbie. Troops forever changes it, and I messaged Troops and I said, Troops, bruv, you're always changing your scores. When you say a score and Robbie comes in with his thing, you're always changing scores. And I'm like, I never change my scores. I don't like doing it, but I'm gonna do it this one time, and I'm gonna go 8.5. So I'm looking like I'm contradicting myself right there because I'm always having to go Troops for doing it. David is giving him a 7.9. Steve is giving him a 7. Bro, it was an error, but it didn't lead to a goal, and that's really where Leno has been punished time and time again. Remember, Leno led all goalkeepers in the league with 6 errors leading to goals, and it just keeps on happening with Leno, and it's not stopped. This guy's come in and he's just not making any mistakes, bro. And the one mistake he made, it didn't cost us, so we can't. If that had went in, then we'd be having a different conversation.
Yeah, for sure.
Vincey's given him an 8. I agree, Alex. For me, look, me and Ebony done make our mind up long time ago. Yeah,
you done know. You done know.
Done make our mind up long time
ago.
You
know.
Dubs has gone for 9. That save at the end was one of the best saves of the season. Unbelievable. Watch it. Yeah, I totally agree, Bo. Totally agree. Where are we? 18 has gone with a 9, and 18 has said top 5 in the league. You may well be right, mate. And, David's saying he's better than Kepa as well. Kuke is giving him a 9. Vince is saying can't mark him down for that early mistake when he's called back in injury time for going. Yes, it would leave him exposed. Yeah, totally agree. 31 shots. Yeah, that was the official number, 31 shots. Zach, what's your grade out of 10 for Martinez, mate? What's your grade out of 10? Ebony?
Well, you know by now that I am Martinez's biggest fan, his biggest female fan anyway, in terms of goalkeeping. He's just on point. Apart that mistake aside, I mean, he did certainly save our skin. If it wasn't for his heroic saving, those tips over the bar, and I think he's got real leadership skills as well, because he knows how to marshal the back four, even though David Luiz was kind of at fault for the first goal, but because he's slow. You know what? Forget the mistake. I'm gonna give him a 10.
Wow.
He's man of the match.
Wow.
Man of the match.
What? Yeah, you heard that, Tony. She gave him a 10.
I have to come in. Ebony,
no, you know what?
You gave man a 0 at the weekend.
Because they deserve the 0.
Yeah,
but
coming in the terms of the man who made an error.
Mustafi and Kolasinac deserve 0s. My man Martinez, Emi Martinez.
Vincey's just killing it right now with the banter.
I'm his client, Seriously, I mean, this Martinez, Emi Martinez is going to make, or he probably has now made Bernd Leno think, wow, I've got to come back to this. I've got to come back from this. I'm injured, and he's just like, he's better than me right now. So I need to prove that, I'm number one again. For me, he's Martinez. Martinez is number one goalkeeper. He should stay there. When Bernd Leno is back and fit, ready and fit.
You can't drop him. You can't drop him on this form. You can't drop it. You just can't drop him. No manager would drop him at this point. Big shout out to your boy. It says, what's going on, Ebbs? Yeah?
You're right.
And big shout out to, obviously, Zach. Your boy's giving him an 8, and Zach has given him a 9. So, listen, solid, man. I'll go 8.5.
It's a 10.
Yeah,
10 all day.
I didn't give him man of the match. I gave that to Lacazette. But listen, he might well get Lacazette. It's close. In fact, you know what? I'm going joint man of the match. Joint man of the match is Tony. Look what you done to me, man. Boy, Troops is gonna start listening to me now because of this shit, man. So, guys,
the voice of reason.
So, guys,
10 out of 10.
Rob Holding, show up your numbers, guys, in the chat. Let me hear what your numbers are for Rob Holding. Rob Holding, guys. Typically, what we get from him is ultra combative in the air. Led the game with seven clearances. Seven clearances. Combative in the air, defended well, gave Liverpool no space really in terms of his positioning. They had to cut inside all the time on him. He was often a man to smash the ball clear in danger, and that's the reason why he led the game with 7 clearances. He got himself into trouble once, though, losing the ball to Fabinho, but he didn't get punished for it. It was fortunate that I think Salah's shot was blocked, and so he didn't get punished for that. But he had a fiery battle with Mane throughout the game. And look, I've been calling for this guy to start. As you guys know, he's one of my favorite defenders at the club. I think he's a future captain for the team. I have no idea why he comes in, plays against Southampton, gets man of the match, then he doesn't play again. I mean, what is that about? And that's all to do with Mustafi. And I just don't get it. The only thing he doesn't do well, and it was displayed again yesterday, that he doesn't play the ball, the long balls out to try and break the midfield's trap. He's not very good at that. That's what he needs to develop on. But for me, guys, I gave Rob Holding an 8 out of 10. Solid performance from Rob Holding. Let's see what the guys are saying in the chat. We've got David giving him a 6.8. Style, what's going on? Style 7. Yeah, he just busts up Mane. Yeah, fling some licks into Mane. Yeah. Holding, give him the armband. Look, he's future Arsenal captain. I just don't know why he didn't play after that Southampton performance. And look what Southampton's been doing since we beat them. Yeah, look at what Sheffield's been doing since we beat them. We beat some good teams and we beat Wolves. We should have beat Leicester. Look, man, this is so disappointing. But I still say Arteta's going to get top 4 next season. So I'm going to hold him to that. Stephen's gone for an 8. Looking good. Yeah, bro. As long as you... I've said this before, in our 22-game unbeaten run, we won 11 games straight. He was the man that facilitated that. When he got injured 2 years ago against Manchester United, everything fell apart. And I just rate him so highly. Vince is giving him an 8. 18 is saying, he should be starting, bro. An 8. Your boy's giving him a 6. David's saying, hold his pace. No, his pace isn't, but his positioning is. And when you're great at positioning, it kind of covers your lack of. I mean, look at Mertesacker. Mertesacker continuously led the league in passes intercepted, and he had no pace at all. But his vision, bro. Yeah, when I played American football, I used to play strong safety. I played free safety a bit at times, but I wasn't. I was quick over 100 meters, and I was okay. I was a 4.5 over 40, but I wasn't a 4.4. And when you're a free safety, if you don't have speed, you just get exposed. So I played strong safety. So I was sort of an added linebacker. But as a free safety, you need range. You need vision. You need range. You need to see the whole field. And you need to see plays developing, especially if the ball's going over the top. You need to spot that before it actually happens. And when you look at somebody like Per Mertesacker, he was like a free safety for Arsenal. He could spot things when it happens, and that's what Rob Holding does. Rob Holding can sense danger. It's a sixth sense. Not a lot of players have it, and he's fantastic at it. Tony, Rob Holding.
Yeah, I mean, that's the Rob Holding we've been wanting to see, isn't it? I mean, that is what we've been waiting for. So yeah, he gets an 8 for me. Didn't put a foot wrong in my eyes. Didn't make any mistakes. Strong. You know, he had a torrid time. He had a very torrid time during this season, but we have to realize that he has been coming back from injury. But if going by yesterday's performance, we want to see more of that. It becomes a situation where you start looking at the summer and how he stacks up in the ratings against all the other defenders that we have and that could be coming in. Now, you know, I've obviously expressed my preferences for Pablo Mari being one of the two and William Saliba being the other of the two. They're my 1 and 2, followed up by potentially David Luiz because of his ability to actually play with the football. But then you get the next one is Callum Chambers or Rob Holding. And I think it can only be one of the two. I don't think both can exist going forward because ideally I'd love to see Upamecano come in. And if I have to choose, I would generally choose Callum Chambers. But when I see Rob Holding do what he did yesterday, I'm swayed to go, let's go back to Rob Holding.
Yeah, I've always had Holding. I've always had Holding over Chambers, but Chambers is so versatile. As I said, Chambers had his best season in the Premiership playing as a Holding midfielder, and we never played him there.
And that means that you can play with the ball.
And that's the thing, you know. My one weakness is not playing with the ball at his feet out into the midfield. That's where Chambers has an advantage of him. But defensively, Holding is just a rock. He's just a solid rock. Have we got some more scores in here? Kuke's gone for an 8 as well. So strong, he said. Dub says, I agree, Apollo. Man, these boys are going to get served. Yeah, listen, we need to make sure we pick the right team. Don't pick, what's his name? Don't pick Klasnach against that Man City. Just don't pick him, man, because a man's going to get ripped. You have to play, either go with Tierney at left in the left back three, or play Holding there. It's as simple as that, man. Ebony, Rob Holding.
The fact that he hasn't got pace goes to show that he's got a footballing brain, and that brain means that, you know, he's good at positioning. And when you have that brain and you can position yourself early, which is what he did. I like the fact that, you know, he's good in the air. I like the fact that he's strong. I like the fact that, you know, he doesn't take any BS from other players. And that's what we need in our defense. We need that type of defender, that old school type of defender that isn't scared to get stuck in. I'm going to give Rob Holding an 8 because I like the fact that, you know, he's strong. He's so good in the air, you know, and I don't get why Arteta isn't playing him. I don't know whether Arteta's has picked up tips from Arsene Wenger in, you know, you see a player, you know how good he is. All right, you know, he's had an injury and people are worried that, you know, that injury may recur again. Fine, fair enough.
I think it is because of his ability to play the ball out of the back with his feet. I think that's why.
Well, exactly. And if you have a player like that who can play the ball from the back, utilize that player. I'm sick and tired of not. You see, the problem with our defense is, you know, I'm sick and tired of seeing Kolasinac, Mustafi in there, and I'm sorry, David Luiz. I've given up on him. I've tried to give him the benefit of the doubt. He needs to go.
He did okay yesterday. He did okay yesterday.
But he's slow, isn't he?
Yeah, he is slow.
He is slow. And I mean, yes, he's got experience, but he's slow.
The reason I keep him at my 3 is because of all the fact that people like Saka say he's such an influence in the changing room. He's such an influence in training. So just on that and that alone, You know, I remember when Per Mertesacker was in his last year, he wasn't playing, but clearly he was doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes, you know?
Yeah.
So you do have to take some kind of, you know,
semblance in what he's doing. You might as well give his grade because we're on to David Luiz. Guys in the chat, please throw your numbers up for David Luiz. Go on, Tony.
Again, not really many mistakes. You know,
to keep Liverpool to 1 goal.
Yeah.
I don't know what these guys.
That's the first.
You know, he actually held it together. You know, he was the middle of the back three. He had 2 youngsters on either side. That's what you got to remember. He's got 2 youngsters. He's got Tierney on one side, Holding on the other side, and he's holding that together because the man in the middle is the glue. You know, and sometimes you think to yourself, "What is that idiot doing?" You know, and we all say this. You know, Arsenal need a spine. We talked about this in a few days ago. Arsenal need a spine, and kind of he was a spine yesterday because he did keep it together, and ultimately, without that presence of those really strong defensive midfielders, they still managed to keep Liverpool down to 1 goal. So.
And remember, Liverpool in their last 7 games have averaged 3 goals a game against us.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I'm going to give him a 6.5.
That's exactly what I've got written down on my screen. Okay, I'm going to go next then. I gave him a 6.5 as well. And look, it came running across to meet Robinson for the opening goal. But the movement, and like I said, guys, the movement from the players at Liverpool and the ball speed, it was like ping pong. It was just going boom, 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 boom. And our guys couldn't track it. And it wasn't just Luiz. Nobody in an Arsenal shirt could track the movement from what Liverpool, it was just too fast. When I was doing matchday commentary, I was talking to La African Guna, and I said to him, their movement, mate, we can't live with it. They're on another level. We just cannot move with the ability that they have, Liverpool, to move the ball at speed and pace. It's frightening, and we're just not there yet. And when you look at the fact that teams like this have been playing together for 3 or 4 years, and Arsenal have been playing together for 3 or 4 months, if you take out the 3 months of lockdown, yeah, Arteta's got a long way to go with this team, guys. And I keep telling you guys, pepper your expectations, set achievable goals, yeah, work in progress. I cannot stress that enough. Every time I talk to you guys, it's the same thing I'm saying. I talk to every Arsenal fan about that when I see them shoot off and go into meltdown mode and I just like, hey, guys, please remember, most of these teams we're playing, Wolves, Sheffield United, you know, it's Tottenham, they've been playing together for a very long time. We've been playing together in this system, in this setup for 3 or 4 months. So we have to understand that everything is a work in progress. And if you're upset, then you need to point at yourself because you're over expectations. Yeah. If you came in with realistic goals of what this team can try and achieve, then maybe you wouldn't be that upset. But for me, guys, I thought he did well to actually plug the hole in for Mane. Mane was trying to get a goal in at close range, and he blocked that. He also, look, you know, he struggled a bit because of his lack of pace, but he kept it together and he put in a performance. I gave him 6.5 as well. Let's see what the guys are saying on the scores scores on the doors. 18 has given him a 7. Style has given him a 7. David has given Luiz a 7. Boy, Alex ain't even giving him a score. Luiz, give him the exit door. Man ain't even put up a score, Alex. Cool has given him a 7. Yeah, boy's given him a 6. D's given him 6.5 as well. Luiz never really had a problem with him, you know, but it is what it is. Put him next to 2 quality defenders. And that's what I'm saying. Yo, Dubs, he played in this position, 3 or so years ago when Chelsea won the championship, and when they won the Premier League, when PSG, when they done the treble, this is the player that was in it. He's won everything, World Cup, Champions League, you name it. And when people talk about him, you wouldn't believe it's the same player. You really wouldn't. And it's not like Ozil that plays in the number 10. Yeah, this isn't a position because Ozil's a World Cup winner. Ozil's literally done it all. He ain't won the Premier League though, but David Luiz has been playing in a position that's pivotal and important to the success of the team, which is right in the middle, smack bang in the middle of a back three. So yes, I agree, bro. Levels. Ebony, what would you give David Luiz?
For the sheer fact that he's slow. Yes, he blocked Mane, but that's really about the best thing he did for me. He was at fault for their goal. Like I said, he's slow. Well, okay, fine, but for me, he's just too slow. A 5, you know. You see, the problem with David Luiz is that we need to. He's just slow. Yes, he's got experience.
Ebony, my only argument, I mean, obviously, all reviews are subjective and you have to respect what everybody's opinions are.
Yeah.
But the only thing I can push back on this is Liverpool have averaged 3 goals a game against Arsenal for years.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough. And, and David Luiz, you can say that, he did well to do what he did against Mane. That's great. That's fine. I will never take that away from him. But I just think that, for me, the game's just too fast for him now. And yes, he might be good in the dressing room, and that's why he's picked for every game. And yes, he could be, he's probably one of those players that's picked when we don't have we do have a choice. But at the end of the day, last night's game showed me why Rob Holding should be there and not him.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Rob Holding can also play in that position in the middle as the pole in the back three.
Can he be that glue? Can he be?
Yeah, I'm not sure if he can be the leader that David Luiz can be. Cool K saying first 30 minutes was a worse. Bro, listen. Sometimes you guys forget I have to do match day commentary with all this shit. Yeah, people see it visually, and that's nice. I see it, and I've got a type about it, and I've got all these fans that are watching in the chat room and monitoring the game. A lot of people. The reason why I do it is because people are out and they can't watch the game, and they might be at the bar, they might be at the pub, or they might be at a family dinner or whatever. So when they lock in, like Peter yesterday made me laugh. Yeah, Peter's coming in saying. Because obviously in Nigeria and Africa and in most of those countries, sometimes they don't get the games. So Peter's like, what's going on? What happened? What happened? Give me an update. And I'm just like, Peter, we're getting bus up. Peter, we ain't had the ball in the last 10 minutes. Peter, we've had we've had one shot and they've had 25. And it was a nightmare to watch. And so I totally get it. Cool K, it wasn't the prettiest thing. It was 10 men. It was 11 men behind the ball. Yeah. And we just survived. And look, we can't have it either way. You can't moan and say that other teams can hang on and we can't hang on. You can't moan and say that we can't do it. And then when we do it, moan and say that we've done it. You can't have it either way, Gunners fans. Yeah. If we hung on to a 2-1 lead, and we've been dropping 15 points, 18 points actually all season. Give the team props when they get it right. That's what I'm saying, man. And listen, let's move on to Kieran Tierney at the moment. Kieran Tierney, what a game. And remember, guys, when we chose the team last week against Spurs, I was saying to the panel he should be in the back three at left back and then move Saka to the left. And that's exactly what they did. So, Tony, man, and guys in the chat, throw down your numbers, please, for Kieran Tierney. What a performance yesterday.
So yeah, it seems like Mikel Arteta has finally seen the light about the position that Kieran Tierney and Saka can play. The Tierney, Saka, Martinelli dynamic can be phenomenal for us going forward. It really can. Because they're 3 players who I believe can make an absolute massive difference down the left-hand side of our field. And as I talked about, on Sunday night, getting left patterns and right patterns right is what makes good teams. Now, we all want to be fluid like Barcelona and Man City, where players can just run left, right, and centre. But let's be honest, we need to get the basics right, where players can play with each other down the left and create opportunities and cover one another. And we need to do the same down the right-hand side. So we'll end up with this conversation a little bit later. But quite clearly, Tierney is integral to that left-hand side. You know, the guy is now a lock. He's like Nigel Winterburn. Nobody else is getting a look in as far as I'm concerned. Nutty Nige was a lock. Yeah? And you remember, Nige on the left, Dixon on the right, lock. You know, you can move Adams and Bold and Keown in the middle, but them two, down the left and the right, lock. Yeah? And then we had Cole and Sanya, lock. And now we have Tierney, lock. What do we have on the right-hand side? So that's the area that we need to lock now.
That's the key.
Right-hand side. But as far as I'm concerned, we have that left-sided back of a free lock.
Yeah,
you know?
and remember,
it's funny because yesterday I looked at. It's interesting because yesterday Monreal played Cazorla. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
And I was like, this is so weird how we're seeing two of our great players. I mean, you know, they're not Cazorla we could put into legend status in a way. But Monreal for me was a great player. Not legend, great player. And now we're looking at this kid and we're like, a few weeks back I was like, let's hold fire. But now the more I'm seeing him, I'm like, this kid, he is going to be the next 8 years of Arsenal left back.
Yeah.
Tie him down. Make sure that he's got, you know, we need to put the Mahomes on him. You know what I mean? The Mahomes.
Yeah. Fling the money. Fling the money. And you're in a perfect position to do that because you know, he's just signed a contract. I mean, I looked on a website yesterday in terms of transfer worth, and they had him rated at 65 million. We just paid 22 million for the guy. We just paid 22 million for him. And
this kid's already going over the three figures, man. He's 100 million for me.
Yeah, he is legit, man. I would not be surprised to see a top team coming for him in Europe, but you know, he ain't going nowhere anyway. Listen,
I'm telling you, man, put the Mahomes deal in place, bro.
Yeah.
We can't be having them people come. Listen, you need to put a buyout clause of about 200 million on him and say, listen, this is the future of our team, our future captain. I love Rob Holding, but boy, this is the captain.
Yeah. I'd sign up to that as well. David has given him a 9. He's man of the match. 18's given him an 8.5. Styles given him 8.5. Kuke's given him an 8. David's saying he was a smart buy 100%, bro. Adrian has given him a 7.5. I don't see a score from Dubs there at the moment. Ebony.
I'm going to give him a 9. You know, he's one of my favourite players. You know, he's the left back that we've yearned for since Cole. He's got that position on lock. You know, he's got that position on lock, and I just love the way. He just bombs down the left, and he can just like put in that cross. He's perfect for me as a left back, and this is who we've been screaming for. You know, and you can see the passion in his face. You can see that he wants to win. You know, you could just see that. You know, we need to keep him forever and a day. Amen. Seriously. Anybody who wants him.
I love that story about how at the start of his time at Arsenal he was being too aggressive. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Man was too aggressive.
But we need that in our team though, especially in defense. We need that
100%.
Because we haven't had because until he came along, we didn't have that. We just had type of players. So
still haven't heard any figures from Stephen or Alex. Haven't heard any figures from them for Kieran Tierney. But for me, played the left side centre-back role with a license to get forward. Typically done well defensively as well in terms of his positioning. Got a good block on Salah's shot as well. I mean, how much shots did Salah have, man? I think Salah had about 10 shots. So he got a good block on one of those. It didn't have too much trouble with Salah, which is a testimony to Kieran Tierney's quality. Just reliable. Yeah, just completely reliable. So I gave him an 8.5. I thought he was solid, rock solid. So guys, Cedric Soares, throw up your numbers in the chat. Tony, Cedric Soares.
So this conversation about the left-hand side to the right-hand side, I'm still not sold on him, but I think he had a solid performance. It was a bit of a strange one because he did a swap with Reece Nelson and Pepe, and you kind of saw things happening down the left, but nothing happening down the right. So Reece Nelson ended up being Pepe completely out of the game.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
I thought
at the end.
I thought he did really well, Reece Nelson.
Yeah, so he was getting really nothing in terms of assistance down the right hand side, and you have to look at that partnership and say, well, that doesn't really work. So it's still a work in progress for me, but decent performance. I give him a 6.5. Again, like Louis.
Excellent. So for me, guys, I gave him a 5. I thought it was a tough game for him. He struggled against the combination of Mane and Robinson. Caught out position a few times and was beaten by Robinson in the air, which led up to the first goal. And he was substituted off. I think this is probably why he was substituted off early on. I thought he had an average game yesterday, so I gave him a 5. Let's see what the guys are giving in the chat. By the way, Alex gave Tierney a 8. So 18's given him a 3. Cedric Soares, that's a bit harsh, 18. David's given him a 6.7. Alex has given him a 7. Adrian's given him a 6. Cool K's given him a 4. We've got Dubs that has given him a 6. SL Bellerin, yeah, I mean, look, Bellerin actually played well the other day, so I want to see what Bellerin does. It's amazing how good you play when you know competition is breathing down your neck. Style has given Cedric a 6.5. David said Apollo Arteta told the players to shut down. Yeah, and look, this is the reason why it's tough on these guys, because they're given a job, they're given a role to play. I think Arteta did really, really well yesterday. And I'll talk about Arteta when it comes to Lacazette. Adrian is saying it needs to part them. Yeah, I think he's gone, mate. I think he wants to leave, and I think he's a really good player as well. I've always believed in Maitland-Niles. It's just a shame that he's decided to leave, but it's what the player wants, so you can't beg the man to stay. Ebony.
I give Cedric a 6. He just doesn't look match fit to me. He looks really lethargic for me. And yes, it was tough, but he did all right. Down the right hand side, he did okay. He was all right. I mean, not brilliant, but up against Liverpool and up against Robinson, I give him a 6.
6. Okay, guys. Granit Xhaka, throw your numbers up for Granit Xhaka. David, can't wait to hear your score, bro, because I know you is a man that love you some Xhaka right now. Tony, Granit Xhaka, guys, throw up your numbers for Granit Xhaka. Oh, Tony, you're on mute.
Sorry, you go first. I want to just have a look at some stats.
Okay, so Granit Xhaka for me, I gave Granit Xhaka a 6. We keep talking about we're waiting to see him play these nice passes. We saw one pass in the last game to Bellerin, which was really nice. But yes, it was one pass, but at least it seems like he's making an effort now. And he was the one that played the loft pass to Reece Nelson, which nearly set up the first goal for us. So well done for that. He got a good block and close range on another block on Salah. How many players had a block on Salah last night? But he threw himself in the way of a few passes and shots to prevent Martinez from having to do more work. Yes, he was booked again, but overall, another solid game from Granit Xhaka. I gave him a 6. What are the guys saying in the chat? So 18 has gone for a 3. It's a bit harsh, 18. David's gone for a 7.8. Adrian's gone for a 7. Where are the haters? Bro, they're here, man. 18 just gave him a 3. Alex has given him a 7. has not really put a foot wrong. Yeah, you know, funny enough, you say that, Alex. I normally watch how many times he gives the ball away every game. It's normally around 4, 5, or 6. And yesterday he only gave the ball away twice. So against a team like Liverpool, that was better. I mean, yes, he still gave the ball away twice, but it was better. So you got to shout out an improvement when it happens. Tony, do you want Ebony to go first?
I'm ready now.
Okay, all right, you got the conch.
It's one of them. I'm on the fence with what to give him because he somehow is another glue player, despite being a poor player. You know, without him, we just totally capitulate. But he's not a good player. He's just not a good player, and we will never see, you know, great 30-yard passes. You know, maybe once in a blue moon we'll see one, but you know, we'll see lots of back and sideways passes. We're never gonna see those, you know, clinical passes. We saw one last week, fun enough, from him, but they're few and far between. What did he do yesterday? He was just kind of... He made some great blocks, I'll be honest. He made some great blocks. I'm going to go with a 6. I'm going to give him a 6.
That's what I gave him. Yeah, that's what I thought he deserved.
You know, he didn't have the worst game in the world, but he's just not someone who going forward, we just need a more decisive, impactful player.
I agree. Spot. Yeah, I agree. Well, we've got some more scores here now. We've got Dubs have given him a 6.5. He's a good player, but not fast enough for the league. So for the league, I think more than anything, he's not fast enough for the top 4. If you look at the way how Chelsea, Man United, Man City, and Liverpool move the ball, you know, I talked a lot about movement and the speed that the ball travels along the channels and the way the players move into space. That is hard to defend. There's if you get it right, as we saw with Liverpool's first goal yesterday, there's not much you can do to stop a goal when it, you know, and we had this with the Invincibles. Defenses were like man to a slaughter. The guys were left out on an island because you just can't defend it. And I think we saw a little bit of that yesterday, and we saw a lot of that when Man City played us. And it's just something that we're not at that level. So yeah, I look, when you have players like him, and you want to finish in the top 4, and you want to beat teams like this, you have to replace them with players who, in my opinion, have better range. And range means obviously box to box, a player who can get up and down. When you look at Dani Ceballos, who didn't start yesterday, by the way, if you look at the time that he's in the defensive area, stopping an attack, and then a couple of seconds later, he's on the other end in the penalty area creating a goal. So that's what he doesn't have. Xhaka doesn't have that. And if you want to improve as a team, that's where you have to improve. So style gives him a 6. It's an agree upon defense and never rest. Yep, I totally agree, bro. So Ebony.
Granit Xhaka.
The man you love to hate.
All right, he played well. I mean, he's not the best player. He still needs to go. Yes, he put in some blocks. He gave the ball away. I don't care how many times. I don't care if it's twice. He gave the ball away. He shouldn't be giving the ball away. What can I say about Xhaka? I mean, he's one of these players that plays really well, or he doesn't. There's no in between. I just look at Xhaka and I just think, why can't you play at a 7 all of the time? You know, it's because he's not disciplined enough to play that way. When I want to talk to you about these stats I looked up on last week. Cazorla, when he was at Arsenal, gave away 1.4 passes per game. Arteta gave away 0.9 passes. Arteta per game as Arsenal captain gave away less than 1 pass a game. Less than 1 pass a game. Yeah. And Xhaka?
Xhaka gives away 5.7 passes per game. But when you look at Aaron Ramsey, 1.9 passes per game. So just under 2 passes per game he gives away. So when you look at that, That's not even close. That's not double. That's triple the amount of balls that you give away than the Arsenal midfielders of 3 or 4 or 5 years ago. And when you look at that, you can see why I keep mentioning Arsenal have never made the top 4 since they bought Xhaka and they played him in the middle.
Exactly.
A lot of that is the reason why, because we need to do better. Bertram always talks about our ball retention and our ability to keep the ball and our ability to play possessional football in the midfield. We don't have it because we're not good with the ball at our feet.
And the thing is, with Xhaka, he's so inept at keeping the ball. It's almost a joke. He doesn't have the greatest of range, or maybe he's lost that range, or maybe he's looking for that killer pass that we're all looking for again. But I mean, he did okay. Like I said, he still needs to go. We still need to get somebody better because he's not the future. 7.
Yeah, excellent. And guys, listen, hit that like button on this video, please, guys. I always say this every video, and I say it because my video is then recommended to other Arsenal YouTubers and other Arsenal channels for other fans to watch and enjoy. And that's the support I need from you guys. I love when you send me some money and donations because it helps the channel out. It keeps the stream going. But also, most importantly, giving that video a like doesn't cost you a single penny. It's free. So brilliant. Love the fact that you can do that and help me out. But outside of that, guys, yeah, you know what? It is what it is, bro. You got to talk sense. You got to talk the truth, man. And I kind of miss being at the Emirates, but not when this pandemic is going around, man. So listen, guys, let's move on to Lucas Torreira. Tony, you got the conch. Guys in the chat, throw up your numbers for Torreira.
For those of you who don't know it, Real Madrid just won the league. That's my team. Go on, Zizou.
Well, it's been a while for them, hasn't it? It's been, how many years is that they haven't won the league?
It's been a few. It's been a few.
Okay, congratulations to Real Madrid, man.
Yeah. Torreira. Obviously, first time really in anger getting back into the game. Did expect him to flake out at some point, which he clearly did.
I think he was tired.
Yeah. And that's just fitness. Match fitness you can never get without playing matches. But again, is same combative self, put himself about. But going forward, we can all see his deficiencies. He's not a big statured guy. He doesn't have hugely, great facilitating skills. And we all know there are players, who can come in and do a better job at being a rock in the middle of the park, either with Xhaka or instead of Xhaka. That position in the pitch for me is going to be key going forward, which is why I'm so keen for them to sign Thomas Partey. Partey and another, or with 2 others, needs to be the future of Arsenal's midfield. Will it be Torreira? Will it be Xhaka? Will it be Joe Willock? Will it be Emil Smith-Rowe?
Yes, please.
So there's some interesting decisions to be made, or even Ceballos, if we can acquire him for next season. So there's some interesting decisions to be made. But in that pecking order of players I've just mentioned, Torreira really, for me, is not high in that list at all. Sometimes he has outstanding games. You've seen what he can do. He knocked out Ronaldo in the World Cup. But, sometimes you're like, well, he's just not big enough and fast enough. And therefore, I give him a 5 for yesterday.
Yeah, I always mention the 2 games last season against Spurs at home when we won 4-2 and we drew Liverpool 1-1, which, I mean, when you consider we beat Liverpool last night 2-1, I thought we played at the Emirates last season in that 1-1 draw. We went toe-to-toe with them. We absolutely went to war, and Torreira walked off that field with blood and sweat. I do agree with Alex. He's not up to speed. He's been off injured for quite a while. Remember, guys, Torreira was supposed to be out for the season. So the fact that we're here seeing him play is a miracle in itself. And that's why he took him off for precaution reasons. And he's not up to full speed, but what he did yesterday in terms of the pressing was fantastic. I gave him a 6.5. He offered a lot of energy, ran himself into the ground, covering space and pressing, absolutely solid. So I thought he played a decent game yesterday. Let's see what these guys are saying, man. We've gone for David, has given him a 5. 18 has given him a 7, says he's better than Xhaka. Alex gave him a 5. Kuke gave him a 6, said he offered more energy in the middle. Yeah, we do need to keep him, bro. And David Zane, Partey, Ceballos, and Xhaka for the midfield. Style has given him a 6. Dubs has given Torreira. He roughed them up. Yeah, and this is the thing. This is why I'm saying I'm going to wait to Lacazette before I get to Mikel Arteta, because the tactics in this game were spot on. The pressing that Liverpool were under and the pressure in their back three is the things that caused the mistakes. Yeah, the mistakes that Van Dijk made, the mistakes that led to both goals came from the press that Arteta submitted in his tactics. And Torreira, Reece Nelson, and Lacazette was the big reason for that. Not Pepe, but those 3 players that I just mentioned, Torreira, Reece Nelson, and Lacazette. Those are the 3 guys who won us that game yesterday, because they put Liverpool under tremendous pressure at times. It didn't look like Liverpool could keep the ball in the back. They were under so much pressure. So look, that was all about Mikel Arteta. Any more numbers? Mohammed, nice to see you, Mohammed. Just made sure I didn't miss a show once again, like everybody. Yeah. Video Apollo. I am underrated, bro. I've been in the circle for a long time, man. And to be honest with you, it's my fault because I didn't open up the YouTube channel 5 years ago when I should have. I only opened it up, a year or so ago. So that's really my fault. Otherwise, I would have the same amount of subscribers as Lee Gunner and Deluded Guna and all them guys. But yeah, so it's kind of my fault. But at the same time, bro, I'm not looking for fame. I'm just looking for real Arsenal fans. And I'm looking for real opinions. And I'm looking for fans, as in you guys, in order to share the party with and enjoy just the love of the team. I'm not about you watch some of them guys, and I'm not mentioning any names, that just love to rant and scream at the team and effing blind about the team and the team is this and the team is that and stick their boot in on the team. You're not going to find that on this channel. I love my team. I absolutely love Arsenal, and I would never, I would support them regardless. And the word support means get behind your team and back them 100%. And that's what I do. So that's me, bro. And if you don't like that, then a lot of, unsubscribe. If you love your team, if you love Arsenal, then subscribe to this channel. Ebony, did I get some props for you for Lucas Torreira?
I'd give him a 6. I just wish that he was a bit taller and a bit more. Maybe he needs to go to the gym a bit more. He did look tired.
Megan help him with his height.
Yeah, no, look, what's the Chelsea guy? Zola was short. Cazorla wasn't that big. He's no different.
Kante's small as well.
Yeah,
Kante's small as well. Yeah. No, he did look a bit, again, lethargic. He's been out for how long? So, but I mean, the time that he was on, he did well, considering that he's not match fit. So I give him a 6.
Yeah, I mean, for me, guys, it is what it is. Let's wait for this guy to get back to full fitness, because he's not full fit at the moment. And I question whether David Luiz is fully fit as well, because how I saw him run pre-Christmas and how I saw him run when he came on, ever since the Man City game, which they said he was 70% fit, yet he's been playing nearly every 3 days. So I don't even know how that works out. He didn't start against Man City, had to come on because Padlamari got injured. Arteta said he's 70% fit, yet you've been playing him every 3 days. So, I got a question.
Makes no sense.
Yeah, I don't think that Luiz is 100%. So, that's it. Guys, Bukayo Saka. Let's hear your marks out of 10 for Bukayo Saka. Tony, you've got the conch.
Industry, quite, we know what we get with Bukayo. We get a lot of industry. He does a better defensive job than Nicholas Pepe. Yeah, so for that, you've got to give him credit. You know, he comes in, he's asked to link the play between the midfield and the front three. And you know what? The kid's not bad at doing it. He didn't have his greatest game, but he was on the back foot for most of it. But, you know, I'm going to give him a 7.
7, that's okay. That's decent. That's decent. 7. That's pretty decent. I gave him a 6. It was a quiet game offensively, but again, he worked hard off the ball to press on the back end. It was more defensive game for him. If you look at, I think he had 3 blocks. 3 block shots is pretty outstanding when you consider that Pepe was just off the pace offensively and defensively. Saka, although he didn't do much offensively, he still had the clout and the passion, yeah, because that's what it's about. You've got to show commitment as a player to fight the cause, and he fought defensively for this team. And in a big way, Reece Nelson, although Reece Nelson was better than Saka defensively, Saka still put himself about. So I gave him a 6. Let's see what these guys are saying here. We've gone for, let's see if we got some scores. Am I missing scores? No, I'm not. David gave him a 6. Style gave him a 7. 18 saying I'm just as good as Robbie. Listen, man, me and Robbie have had some good times. I don't do interviews with AFTV anymore. I'm happy doing what I'm doing here, to be honest. It's a real reason why I don't watch. Listen, Sonny, bro, Sonny's real, man. Yeah, Sonny's real, and if Sonny is happy with the team and they're doing well, he'll tell you. If the team is shit, he'll tell you. He'll just say it like it is. So I love Sonny for that. Sonny doesn't hold back. Ebony, what would you give Saka?
You know, I actually prefer Saka defensively than I do offensively. I'm going to give him a 6 because I think he was all right. Like I said, you know, I do like him defensively. I think he's actually better than AMN defensively. And I thought he showed some pretty decent defensive skills last night. So, yeah, so I give him a 6.
That's some high praise. That's some really high praise for him defensively. Some more scores coming in. 18 has given him a 6. Everyone's given him a 6. And we get another 6 from Cool K. Style gave him a 7. So I think that's our only 7. David, I'm sure David. What did David give him again? David, I can't see your figures for Saka. Yes, I can. You gave him a 6. All right, brilliant. Guys, Dubs gave him a 6 as well. Everyone's giving him a 6. He's 18 years old. His IQ is really good, man. The only thing, sometimes it looks like he's a bit timid on the ball, but that's because he's second guessing what he's doing. It's normal for someone to do 18. That at that age. Yeah. Although Martinelli doesn't do it, sometimes Saka can be a little bit decisive, a little bit. But listen, I'm just critiquing right now. He's just a brilliant player, and he's got such a high ceiling. I can't wait to see what they do with him. So, guys, Nicholas Pepe. Guys in the chat, throw your numbers up for Nicholas Pepe. Tony, you got the conch.
All too quiet for me. And again, he moved around. This game just went past him. He was unable to do anything of really any value to the team going forward. He had pretty poor ball retention. Trying to run through players, you know, you're just like, you know what, you need to be able to hold the ball and move it appropriately. So it's a little bit of a quandary because you know me, Presence Blood. We all know what he's got in his locker. We all know what he's got, but yesterday's game, he just got found out for his inability to establish
get into the game
sufficiently. Yeah,
get into the game.
So. Unfortunately for my good friend, it's a 3.
Yeah. And guys, I want to go back to this again because I'm quite consistent with my comments and I'd like to stay that way. I talked about the conversations that Arteta has had with the player, and Arteta has said that what he's found out is that he tends to go missing in games, and that's what they're working on. And as someone who's played the game, I can tell you when somebody goes missing, it's just because they're not invested in a certain part of the game. When you've got possession of the ball, you know exactly what you want to do, and you're busy. But when your team doesn't have the ball, and you don't want to defend the will, you don't want to. You just don't want to be a part of that process of pressing and everything else. That's on you. And I think that he's been suffering with that for quite a long time. He didn't have to do much of this when he was at Lille. And he's been asked to do this in the Premiership because it's a different league. And let's not discount the success he's had. He's been a part of 16 goals. Yeah, he's got and 17 goals, sorry, yeah. 9 assists, 8 goals. He's had a really good season. But the problem is you have to make yourself accountable when it comes to big games. And in big games, when I remember him roasting Van Dijk when we played Liverpool the first game. He just roasted him. In this game, it just was completely you just wasn't a part of what was going on, playing on the and another thing is, where the hell was he playing? I saw him on the left, I saw him in the middle. When I looked at the stats, he had 11 passes for the whole game. 11 passes for the whole game. 11 passes for the whole game. That is the definition of disinterest. So I gave him a 3. What's the guy saying? 18 has given him a 3. David has given him a 4. Alex has given him a 4. Kouke's given him a 3. Yeah, I just said that. Where was he playing? I don't know where he was playing. Through the middle, on the right, on the left. I don't think he knew where he was playing. Liverpool shut down. I think Pepe shut himself down, bro, if I'm honest. Style has given him a 4. Dubs has given him a 4. Apollo, I'll leave it to you, brother. Listen, before you start, there was a time against them lot on Sundays where he could squared it with his right foot, which Saka would have done. I just thought he looked disinterested. And you know what? Man just had a baby 7 days ago, and maybe he's just counting down the days till the season ends so that he can be with his wife and his newborn baby. Look, I'm not gonna chastise him for that, but if that's his mindset after this display, if I'm Arteta, I'm not even starting him. And I got to be real, yeah. What I saw from Reece Nelson, I'd rather start Reece Nelson, or I'd rather start Saka on the right and then facilitate the left wing back position than pay Pepe when Pepe's head is. Pepe was like this in the last game, guys. Yeah, let's make no bones about it. He just looks disinterested at the moment. So, Ebony,
he gets a 4. He just had a dead game. Where was he? It was like, where art thou? He was just nowhere to be seen, and one of the things I don't like about Pepe is that he gets the ball and he's in dreamland. Just do what you need, do what you've got to do, pass it, produce what we know that you have, and just get rid of it. But all this like dawdling, it's just not him. And and the fact that he was here, there, and everywhere, just like stick to one particular part. You are there on the pitch to play a particular role. Play it. Stop dawdling. Stop this dancing. Just get on with it. 4.
Excellent. So, guys, we're going to move on to Alexandre Lacazette. And I'm going to go first on this one, Tony, because I talked about Mikel Arteta's tactics. He got it spot on with Reece Nelson, Lacazette, and Torreira. They absolutely rampaged Liverpool's back line and forced them into all these errors that caused the goal. The beneficiary to that was Lacazette. He had 1 goal and 1 assist. And for me, we don't win this game with Lacazette on this kind of form. He's on this form because he's had to sit down and watch tape of what Eddie Nketiah has been doing for the last few months. That's what spawns. It's competition that breeds players. To remember this guy against Olympiacos, yeah? Remember Lacazette's display against Olympiacos when we lost at the Emirates and we got knocked out of the Europa Cup. He had, I think it was 6 passes completed, was not involved in the game whatsoever, looked disinterested. Yesterday, we saw a player who ran his heart out for the team, never stopped chasing the ball, rounded Alisson to finish well for his 10th league goal this season. He looked sharper, he looked alert, he won the ball back for Nelson's goal as well. two key contributions to this game. He was my joint man of the match with Martinez. Keep this up, bro, and I will turn my back on you no longer about leaving the club and selling off in the summer. And because I'm a big Eddie Nketiah fan, because I love what he brings to the team. If you can bring what Eddie can bring, then you're part of this team, bro. Yeah, that's where I see it. Guys in the chat, what's your numbers for Lacazette? David has gone with a 8.7. Alex has gone with a 7. Style has gone with 8.5. Yeah, he had a nice game, bro. Tony, you got the conch.
Yeah, props to Lacazette for turning up on the last few days. You know, we were like missing that fire in his belly, but it's clearly coming back. Still selling though. I'm still going to use him as a make weight in a deal to get Thomas Partey in the middle of the park if we need to. Because you know Eddie Nketiah is coming back and obviously will be, I think, a more dynamic alternative in the middle.
I've got something to throw at you, Tony. If Lacazette, if Aubameyang is gone and is sold and wants to leave, you've got then Eddie Nketiah and you've got Lacazette, who are two players who can play off the ball, which is something Aubameyang can't do. You've got two players who can create and make and play off the ball, and I think that is not a bad makeup if you're reinvesting Aubameyang in and getting someone in the midfield who can create, score, defend. I think you've got a better. We're looking for balance here. We're looking for balance.
Yeah, for sure. You know, I mean, obviously, Pierre's got to be a priority for the club because he does have that unbelievable knack of just scoring a goal, and you know we can't just dismiss him because of his frailties away from the point. We still want to keep that, but if he does go, then yeah, you know, we keep Lacazette, we keep Nketiah, and we find something else that can work in tandem with that, whether that's Nicolas Pepe or something else. Hey, what's up?
Hey, what's up? We got Hey, we've only got 2 more to do, but I can hear your views on the red card, well, potential red card, which didn't happen, and on the game as well. But yeah, we're talking about man of the match at the moment. Which is Lacazette, and Tony's just giving us his thoughts. So good to see you, the African Guna. Tony, finish up.
So yeah, I'm going to give him a 9, a really, really well deserved 9, because I think he did sweat blood for the team yesterday. You know, if you look at a heat map, I think he literally covered every blade of grass on that pitch, which is what I want to see from my striker.
Yeah.
You know, this is something that I think, you know, we did, you know, we underappreciated Giroud for. You know, Giroud was so often that guy heading out the ball out of the box. You know, I think if you look at the Scorpion goal, he started out from the edge of his box, and the geezer just kept running, and got on the end of the cross. So you know, when your striker performs like that and puts it in at both ends of the pitch, you have to give props and you have to give credit where it's due. So it's a 9 for me. I'm still making Martinez my my man of the match. I know you've got him as your joint man of the match, but I give Lacazette a 9.
Excellent. And D is saying squad complete. Not really, because we don't have Bertram here. And actually, Bertram finished work half an hour ago, so he probably hasn't come in because of, you know, because we're near the end of it. But yeah, you know, big man saying brap, still African Guna. We've got some more scores on the doors, guys. We've got, I think. Alex did give him 7, and I know David gave him an 8.7. Style is giving him an 8.5. 18 is giving him a 9. Cool K is giving him an 8.5. Much better. Yeah, look, if you're going to play to the level of Eddie Nketiah, and look, if I want to take the position from Eddie Nketiah, I've got to work harder than him or just as hard as him. And that's what we're seeing at the moment. This is the language that Lacazette is showing us. So if you're showing that language, the goal he scored against Spurs was just absolutely brilliant. If you're showing us that language, You got 3 games to prove it. Yeah. Big time Zidane. So look, Real Madrid is coming through.
It's a private joke. Somebody, I just was showing off my love for my other team, Real Madrid.
Excellent.
Champions 34, 34 times league champions.
For real, man.
They did not competitive league.
They deserve it. So Ebony, what was your thoughts on Lacazette?
I'm gonna give him a 9. Loved his goal. I love the smile on his face when you could actually see that it was a sense of relief when he scored that goal. He's not been playing very well of recent. Reasons why we don't know, but he's actually come back to the Lacazette that we know. The Lacazette that scores goals, the Lacazette that gets on the end of passes, the Lacazette that can actually produce that killer pass. And I thought he composed himself well yesterday, and maybe he was thinking about Nketiah, thinking, well, okay, this is the level that I need to get back to. I know I can get back to this level. So I give him a 9.
Yeah, and guys, it's important to understand what I'm talking about in regards to Arteta's tactics. Arteta got these guys, Reece Nelson, Lacazette, and Torreira, to literally hound down Liverpool, and I like how it stopped Liverpool, especially with Lacazette. He stops Liverpool progressing the ball up the center of the pitch. Now, when you play out from the back, that's where the ball's supposed to go. It's supposed to go out wide, come back in to the middle anchor man, and then the middle anchor man then facilitates the ball to the strikers. Lacazette, Reece Nelson stopped that from happening. And I wonder why managers actually don't use this tactic more often. You stick a man on the holding midfielder, and you press that midfielder. Lacazette marked Fabinho when he had the ball, and Willock did the same thing when he came on after Reece Nelson came off. And that meant that Liverpool had to build on the flanks on the side instead of in the middle. And it's a tactic that worked, and Liverpool was flustered by it. So I really hope that, tactically, and again, guys, Arteta's got this down. When Manchester City had to play Man United, Chelsea, Liverpool, and when they had to play Arsenal, it was Mikel Arteta sitting down with Pep Guardiola talking about tactically how to beat those teams. So remember when I said Arteta knows what good looks like? We're seeing a remembrance of this in some way. Yes, you don't have the players to submit your philosophies. I get it. But at least the philosophies are in place. And for those who are on board, we're seeing that. For those who are not on board, they're going to be benched or sold in the summer. So I really like where we went with that. African Guna, what was your thoughts on Lacazette?
Yeah, so I think he had a good game. I feel like 9 is quite high. I know he scored and had an assist, but I think that we were quite lucky. Let's not pretend like we took our chances. Usually we're used to teams having 2 shots on target against us and scoring the 2 goals, and us having the 20 chances and not scoring. So it's good to be on the other side of the fence for once. But I think I'd give him an 8. I think 8 is a fair reflection. I'm not sure if it's because of Eddie Nketiah that he's playing better, or he's just coming back into the zone, realizing that, Arsenal may sell him at the end of the season, and he needs to start picking up his socks. Some players go through these, I guess, dips in form, and sometimes they just pick it up randomly. If we look at Martial, I saw in the comments someone was asking Lacazette or Martial. Don't forget, United fans were on Martial's back, just 6-7 months ago, and all of a sudden he's turned back into form. So players go through these ups and downs. His pressing and his running was really, really good. And Apollo, you and I have had this conversation between him and Nketiah. The reason I choose Lacazette all the time is because he's a clinical finisher. He won't do the same type of running that Nketiah does, but he finishes way better than Nketiah, and he showed it again yesterday. Free goal, really, and all you can do is take it, right? Take the chances. 8 from me. Great from Lacazette, and he needs to keep pushing and doing this, because if he starts reducing his running, if he stops producing the goals, what is that? 3 goals in 3 games now. Nketiah is back in the team. It's going to be interesting to see what we do, because there's 2 games left. There's nothing really to fight for, I think, in my opinion. I think Europa League, we're 6 points behind Wolves. To be honest, I don't think they're going to lose 2 games. And even if they do, I don't see Tottenham losing the next 2 games. So it's going to be interesting to see what Arteta does. But yeah, very good game from Lacazette.
So let's have a look. David said, Apollo, please answer. And if you direct it at me, I will, bro. That's what I'm here for. Tierney at left centre back. As long as it's left centre back or Maguire, I would say Tierney. And the reason why I would say that is simply because of his pace. They're both on a par when it comes to positioning. Maguire is a very good positioner of the ball. But it's just his lack of pace. He doesn't have Tierney's lack of pace, and he doesn't have Tierney's ability to become an option offensively. And that's what we saw a little bit yesterday. I know when you're playing as at left centre back, you don't want to commit yourself forward as much, but you can do, because, as I said, when we have the ball, we switch from a 3-4-3 to a 2-3-5. So we want the wing backs being a part of the final third, flooding the box, becoming an option. And that's where Tierney at that point moves from a back three and it goes into a back two, and it goes into a three-man midfield, and then he becomes a part of that, and it helps facilitate the attacking force. So that's how the formation and the structure works. And I would pick him all day long as far as that goes.
Apollo, the correct answer is both of them, not either or, both of them, because we need a Maguire type of player in our team, and Tierney playing at left back where he's supposed to be playing. We need those types of players, right? Tierney's incredible, but we need a proper center back. Imagine we had Maguire playing alongside Tierney. I mean, even if David Luiz was in that team with Maguire, it would make us massively better. And in terms of what Akshit was saying, yeah, my brain still hasn't processed that we actually got 3 points yesterday. So he's right; it is 3 points.
But you have to. It's a shame you wasn't here for the Rob Holding player ratings, because that would have told you that we do have a centre back. We just ain't playing him, and I'm really disappointed in Arteta, the fact that Rob Holding got man of the match against Southampton, and then you ain't played him since. I don't know what that's about. Maybe that's about the recovering from the injury. We saw what happened in Torreira last night. Ran his little tiny socks off, and it got substituted off because he just ran out of energy. He just had nothing left in the tank, and that was after 60 minutes. So look, Arteta's managing it the way he needs to. But for me, Chambers, Holding, Mari, those are quality centre backs. William Saliba coming in next year. We have good centre backs, guys. And again, I'm talking from a coaching perspective. We don't. At times, people say we need to go and buy a centre back. We need to go and buy a. Yes, maybe not, but we need to play better defense. There's a difference between we need to buy a centre back and we need to pay better defense, and both are relative. Yeah, everybody makes mistakes. We saw Van Dijk do that yesterday. What you're judged on is how many mistakes you make. That's the difference between a world-class defender and someone who's like Mustafi, who's not a world-class defender. So, guys, we're going to go on our last one, which is Reiss Nelson. But before we go into Reiss Nelson, I just want the African Gooner to talk about the red card. I'm going to open up. Oh, I thought I was going to open up. Yes, I am going to open up the screen, if I can get it back here. Let African Gooner give us your thoughts on what we thought was a potential sending off.
Absolutely disgusting. I mean, okay, listen, if it's not a red card, at least check VAR. As fans, that's all you ask for, right? Even if it isn't a red card, the process is you need to check VAR, spend at least 2 minutes. I mean, with Nketiah, we spent 5 minutes dissecting the damn play before giving a red card. For this, I mean, 5 seconds, right? Yellow card and the game moves on. I mean, definitely that's a red card. I mean, high foot, studs up. Look at that. That looks horrendous. Definitely red card for me. But again, if it's not a red card, the process needs to be followed and it needs to be standardized across the Premier League in all games. If something like this happens, I mean, it takes 15 seconds for VAR to look at this to even tell the ref whether or not they should be looking more into it. So, I mean, it doesn't take that long, and it should be a standardized process. So, yeah, red card for me all day.
And what was the other talking point was on the game itself. What was your thoughts on the game? And actually, it's weird asking you what your thoughts on the game is, because like most of the other 101 members, you're on match day commentary with me, so we're almost talking to each other as the game's going through, which is fun. What was your overall thoughts on the game?
Yeah, my take on the game, firstly, starting 11, kind of was upset that Aubameyang didn't start. Was happy that Torreira was back in there. I didn't really mind because I thought we needed the the solidity in the team. To be honest, when Liverpool started and they scored that first goal, I mean, on the thread, and even with my dad, I was like, it's going to be 3-4-0, because honestly, they were dominating us. They could have scored 2 or 3 goals. And then out of the blue, we scored 1. It was 1-1. I mean, you know, you take those, right? I mean, we're a charity case and Liverpool donated to us, and we take those donations. That's pretty much what it was. And, you know, once we scored that second goal, I was, you know, in pandemonium, with full of excitement, but trying to stay calm because Liverpool were dominating. I mean, they could have scored easily regardless of them gifting us those 2 goals. And, you know, it's quite funny because, you know, my dad watches a lot of these games with me, and he usually watches the second half, and he knows that typically Arsenal in the 90th minute, that's when they're going to concede. And we were watching it together, and I couldn't really sit down on the couch. I was standing by the TV the entire time with, you know, a blanket over my head, just like biting my lip, because, you know, they had so many chances and we were really under pressure, and they kept coming and coming and coming. And the thing is with Arsenal, when we sit back, we know we can't hold. We just can't. And yesterday we did, which was phenomenal to see. I still think we did get lucky. But I mean, at the end of the day, we defended with our hearts, you know. Tierney, as I told you, Apollo, there was this one moment where he just blasted the ball in Salah's face. And that was incredible for me to see, because they didn't care. They just wanted to get rid of the ball and just, you know, make sure they were solid and that we didn't concede at all. And yeah, I mean, Xhaka making silly fouls as usual. And I told you again, I counted how many times David Luiz tried to make a long pass and it went straight out of bounds. I mean, I'm starting to count those because it's happening every single game, and I'm seeing it way too often. And you know,
he's got nothing. You know what?
He's got nothing. He's got no. Yeah, he's got nowhere to go with.
Then don't do it, right? And then don't do it.
We were so. What's he gonna do? He can't dribble anywhere.
And he couldn't pass back because Liverpool were pressing us as well. So nobody. Yeah.
I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, me too.
But I did look at that, and I'm like saying to you, like literally looking up and going, "What the hell can I do?"
Yeah, he can't even go back to the goalkeeper
who's moving into an aggressive position. There's no striker.
Yeah,
and this is where we mark differently on Lacazette, because Lacazette was doing his defensive duties so much so that quite often his heat map is all up in the right back position, in the left back position, you know, and for that we lose an outlet.
Yeah, but we kept doing long balls to Joe Willock, who's never gonna win a header against Van Dijk.
I know. It's just there's nowhere to go. And as I said, if you pass it back to the goalkeeper's only gonna do the same thing, boot the ball forward, because there's nowhere to go with it. And I did make a point, I think just before you came on the video, African Guna, that Lacazette was doing this to them. He was man marking Fabinho. So when Liverpool were playing it out the back, they had nowhere to go. So Liverpool was who had to go through the wings. That's why you saw Trent Alexander-Robinson get the ball so much, because Lacazette and Reece Nelson was stifling Fabinho getting the ball, and that takes them out of their game plan. Liverpool were flustered yesterday, and while they could have won, and
all praise to Arteta.
All praise to Arteta for what he did by applying the pressure on the back four. So, you know, I kind of was in a semblance mood yesterday. I was like, okay, we won. But today when I woke up, as I said, I thought about it in terms of, well, if we'd have beaten Spurs and lose to Liverpool, we'd be on the same points by now. So there's not much we can say about it. The rest is really up to Wolves. But you got to give the team props when they do something great, as much as telling them they're bad when they do something bad. And they did something good last night, so that's why they deserve praise. I just want to answer a question here.
1 out of 1,000 matches, you know, even 1 out of 100, whatever, 1 out of 500 matches that we're actually be able to hold and defend. So yeah, definitely we have to give them props.
Yeah, I mean, the last time they beat Liverpool was 4-1 at the Emirates, where Ozil got man of the match when he scored that free kick and he had 2 assists. And, you know, Ozil didn't play yesterday, but that was the last time we turned them over. And we beat a top team. So it is what it is.
The best team.
We beat a top team. Ashik has asked, any views on Mavropanos' loan? I'm a big Mavropanos fan, as you guys know, and he's playing really impressive. I've watched about 4 games with Nürnberg at the moment, and he's been doing really well. And what it's done is he's asked to go there for another year. So he wants another year in Germany. What it's doing is it's giving the German teams a lot of footage on him as well. And I know Werder Bremen are interested in buying him. I think that there might be an offer going through this summer. And if that's the case, I believe, who's the other team? Stuttgart are also after him as well. So some big teams are coming in for Mavropanos at the moment.
He's going to Stuttgart.
Yeah, and you know, that's where it will probably be. You have to remember, their director is Sev Mislintat, isn't it? So Mislintat is the guy who...
It's already done, by the way.
It's already done. Okay, so
yeah.
Can I just say that, you know, I don't know why we secured his signature if he's just going to go on loan all the time.
Yeah,
you know, and he's actually pretty good.
Yeah, it's done.
It doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah, the thing about it is, again, it's all about Sev Mislintat. He brought him to Arsenal. He's going to go and put his player where he feels it's going to be the best place that he's going to succeed. There is 9 centre-backs at Arsenal. 9.
Yeah, but you know what? You
9.
We need them all. We need them all.
You know, if you're gonna start looking at that in the summer, and I know the summer is kind of truncated summer because obviously we're finishing the season late, but you kind of feel that we need all of our players who are not going to move on to go, right, come back in, let's see ya. Let's see what you're going to do in the preseason. Let's going to see you on whatever preseason games we're going to get. And let's make an assessment from there. But to be making that decision at this stage in the season just seems a little bit redundant to me. It's like, well, what's the
Chambers, point? Holding, there's too many players that also in that same position as him. And so, he's never going to get in.
Is he not?
Yeah.
Is he not better than them? So if he's not better than them, just sell him.
Yeah,
exactly. Agreed.
I mean, I alluded to you guys the point of when Arsene Wenger had his last season, and for the last 5 games, Chambers and Mavropanos started, and they had 3 clean sheets. They were playing fantastic, and I thought, considering we've been struggling with Mustafi and Koscielny all year, and these 2 kids come in and just looked good. They looked really good, and against some decent teams as well. And I was like, and what confused me was the next year, Mavropanos got injured. And then we put Chambers out on loan. And I was like,
what was the point of that?
Unai Emery's just come in, taken his team over. And those studs who really put their name on the map ain't even going to play. And I was at a loss for that. I really was. Anyway, guys, we've got the last one to go.
Not only is he gone on loan, but he actually extended his contract with Arsenal.
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't make any sense.
The confusing bit. It's like, yeah, we want you, but we don't want you to come in. And you're not a youngster. You're not a 17, 18-year-old kid in development. You're a big man.
Yeah.
He's in his 20s now, you know?
Yeah, early 20s. He's still young. I think we're just trying to increase his value. If he does well, we can sell him on for more than we would have sold him this summer. I think it's smart.
No, listen. Look at where we're at today. Only a week ago, we were talking about the potential of starting Zach Medley.
Only
a week ago, we were talking about starting Zach Medley in a big game, because we had no centre backs. And now we're sending one of those that you go, well, he's got a pro contract or more money than Zach Medley, and we're sending him out on loan without even a look.
Yeah.
We're expecting all the defenders to come back from injury.
And the thing is, you know, it's like that is the one key position that we're always getting injuries.
Yeah.
Centre back. Keep him, play him.
I think at the end of the day, guys, the only
players. But what I would be saying is, for me, he's got to be worth a look ahead of saying, well, let's just keep Mustafi and let's keep Socrates. Because for me, them 2 have got to go.
Yeah, I think, guys, I just want to say something that will answer everybody's question. I think what it comes down to is when you're in a job interview process, you talk about, and I've done it as a manager, you talk about the process and the plans. You do a spot analysis, weaknesses and strengths, and you do everything, and you talk about projection as well, and you talk about your scouting. So these are the type of players I think that would be great at Arsenal. I envision a back 3 or a back 4 of A, B, C, and D. And that's your job interview process. That's what Arteta has done with Vinay and Raul, Salih and Edu. And right now we're in a process of him being stuck with these players that have failed 3 managers, and they're also failing him. Yeah, which I warned everybody about 6 months ago. I did say they failed Wenger, they failed Emery, they failed Lundberg. And I said my exact words were, they are going to fail Arteta. And that's exactly what they've done. So this ain't, I'm not a messiah or anything like that. I'm just telling you lot what you needed to hear. But on the back of that, Arteta's plans to be successful does not include, I would say, 60% of the current players that are on this roster right now. You do not wish to, look, Arteta didn't take this job to fail. Yeah? He didn't take this job over to fail. Arteta wants to succeed, and he is not going to do it with these players. It's as simple as that. So we're talking about these 9 centre-backs. We're talking about the midfield. We're talking about the strikers. In my opinion, the manager does not have plans for over half of these players, you know, in the future of where he sees the club. What he likes at the moment is the commitment that some of these players have shown, the likes of Reece Nelson, Saka, the likes of Martinelli, the likes of the players who are playing right now, Ceballos. He likes what he sees. Kieran Tierney. There are some players that has shown him a lot, probably more than what he expected, and he's now moved those players into his future plans. But at the same time, he has a list of players, a hit list that he wants to go after for players who's gonna enact his system and philosophies the way that he wants. And guys, this team is dead food. They have been for years. That's why they ain't finished in the top 4. So let's hope Arteta gets the back end from the board and the front office to get this team back to the top. Tony, Reece Nelson is our last one to do. Guys in the chat, throw up your numbers for Reece Nelson.
So, as I said about left side, right side balance, you know, the balance on the right hand side still is a big problem. You know, we can see patterns of play existing on the left hand side. We can see us terrorizing teams down the left, but on the right hand side, it just doesn't work. You know, Soares and Bellerin and Pepe and Nelson, between the 4 of them, it's just not working. And, you know, fair play to the lad for coming in and scoring the goal, even though I thought he should have laid the easier ball off to Pepe, who was standing in acres of room. Good goal. Thank you very much. But if he misses that, I am flipping fuming, because Pepe is in an acre of space with nothing in front of him except empty net. Yeah, I don't get enthused by Reece Nelson, I'm afraid. He's not tearing up trees going forward. He's half decent defending wise. Yeah, more effective than Pepe, but that's why Pepe got a free from me. But he's a player that, for all the talk about development of players like Raheem Sterling and Sane by Arteta, I'm sorry, but this kid is not going to be one of those, I'm afraid. I just don't see it. Much though I think Arteta has got a great ability to develop youth, I don't see Reece Nelson becoming the next coming of Raheem Sterling.
And that's what they're looking for, Arteta and the player himself. Reece Nelson has said, look what he's done with Raheem Sterling. And if you look at the way Reece Nelson plays, I might as well do mine now, Ebony, and then I'll do the guys in the chat room. If you look at the way he plays with commitment and abandon, and he's doing that because he knows that if he continues to listen and develop under Arteta, that he'll be a solid player. And I'm not saying he'll be Raheem Sterling. Very few players are. I have talked about Theo Walcott's production for years and said that no winger has been able to achieve that level of production, not even Riyad Mahrez. And the one player that has done that is Raheem Sterling. And you've got to put the respect in on Raheem Sterling, what he's been able to achieve at Manchester City. But before he did that, when he was at Liverpool, remember, SAS, Sturridge, Sterling, and Suarez, he wasn't even in double-figure goals. He was losing the ball constantly. He was flaky in his ability, and Arteta took that and developed it. So the respect where respect is given. I gave Reece Nelson a 7, a very strong 7. I thought he had a good chance to score first off in a break. Really good at positioning himself, and his cross was blocked. He applied the pressure on Van Dijk, which forced Lacazette's first goal. Lovely side-footed finish for him also to score his goal. Great tackling in the backfield as well to prevent Robinson from getting a clear shot on goal. Had the most chances created as an Arsenal player. In fact, I'm going with 7.5. I think he was absolute. That is the game you want to show your manager to say to your manager, I deserve to be on this team. So guys, 18 has given him an 8. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, they were watching the game. They definitely saw what I saw. Ashek's giving him a 7. David's giving him a 7.2. Dubs is giving him a 6. Future Soldier, I totally agree.
No, I think you was
giving him an 8. You were right about Nelson Apollo. Yes, I was, mate. And you know what, Kuke, we haven't seen the best of him yet, bro. We haven't, because one key aspect, he hasn't really been playing. So the more you play him, the more you'll be able to see him. Bertram's given him a 5. Style is giving him a 7.
I'm gonna give him a 6
is,
myself. I didn't put my vote in, but I'm giving him a 6.
Sorry about that.
Scored the goal, because he scored the goal.
But you missed the point. He helped to create the first goal by closing down Robinson and forcing Robinson to go back with the ball. So
expected, exactly.
D totally agrees with that. Ebony.
You know what? I think people are being harsh here on Reece Nelson.
I totally agree. Look, there's one statement that Tony Cox keeps saying. Tony keeps saying, don't judge the player on pre-conditions of what they've done before. Judge him on the game that they've played, and he played a rounded, solid game offensively and defensively. Yeah, and he scored the goal to win the game. Yeah, he scored the goal to win the game.
He scored the goal. He made the block. He created a goal. What more could he have done?
You can't give him a 5 and 6 for that. I don't know.
No. I'm going to give him a 7.
I'm talking to Bertram. Bertram, what you on, bro? Bertram, you're trolling now. You're trolling, and I can't even look at your poker face because you're typing it. Look, I can't even look at your poker face.
Please, kidding me.
If you were sitting here with us, Bertram, I'd be able to work that one out, but I can't work it out. Look, Tony's throwing some more banter at you, Bertram. Look, Tony's throwing some more banter. Go on, Ebony. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Look, he made the cross. So he made the block. He created a goal. He was defensively sound. I'm giving him a 7. Don't care. Giving him a 7. He played very well. And the fact of the matter is, what we've got to remember is that he doesn't get to play many games.
Defensively sound. Did you say
yes?
Defensively sound.
I thought he was all right.
Yeah, he was. Look, I've mentioned it many times. Torreira, Nelson, and Lacazette bull rushed the hell out of that Liverpool back line, and they got their just deserves. We won the game because of that reason only. Had we had sat off and not worked and committed ourselves hard enough, we would have never, ever, we weren't even in the game, guys. And to win it based on what those guys did tactically because of Arteta, we got to call it out. Please give props where it's deserved. And when they're crapping their shit, we'll call that out too.
And for this game, I'm going to give Reece Nelson his due. He played well. Okay, like I said, he doesn't get to play very many games, and this is like one of the games where the few games that he has played, that he played all right. I thought he was all right. 7.
Yeah, excellent. African Guna, you got the conch.
You guys are drinking out of Ty's water bottle, man. Give me some of that stuff. Seriously. Man, and the thing is, I know that Apollo likes him. First of all, man is born offside. He was offside about 4 or 5 times. So I don't know what attacking performance you're talking about. 2, I mean, props, 100%. He scored his first Premier League goal, and you can't take that away from him. To be honest, like Tony said, if he missed that, I mean, it would just reiterate my feelings on him. So I'm glad that he scored. He took it on his right foot. It was a good finish, but Apollo, to be honest, it was like 2 minutes of the entire game, and it's not just based on him. Liverpool made massive mistakes that they don't ever make. They did David Luiz and Mustafi type mistakes, right? So I mean, yes, we give them credit where it's due. They did the pressure and stuff, but it was a one-on-one chance. I mean, you have to score in those positions regardless of your quality.
Yeah, no, you don't have to score because you just said he could have missed.
Of course you do. You're playing for Arsenal. You're in the starting lineup. If you can't finish a one-on-one, what are you doing there, man?
Yeah, he could. How many people? Look how many times that. Look at Look at the amount of goals that Aubameyang has hit the post 3 times in the last 5 games. He's hit the woodwork. Yeah, Aubameyang, and I think a lot of that had come to the way he positioned the ball. One of them, I believe it was against, was it Brighton, the game we lost, where I think the goalkeeper actually got fingertips to it. Yeah, so respect to but he's got to be putting those away. Yeah, it's as you said, it's Arsenal. You've got to put those chances away. He put it away, but it wasn't just that. I made the comment about Robinson. He forced Robinson to go back with the ball because of his closing down, which led to the first goal. Look, I as you know, I watched what they did in the midfield was remarkable. The pressure they put on Fabinho and the back four, and I think even with I only gave Torreira a 6, but they need to be applauded for their defensive performance yesterday.
Listen, at the end of the day, what in that situation, if we replayed that situation 5 times, he would maybe score that one goal he scored yesterday. It would be 1 out of 5 that he would score that chance. For me, he's not good enough for Arsenal. We should sell him. He's gonna be the next Iwobi, and I don't see him becoming a star player for Arsenal ever. So for me, I'd rather sell him or loan him out, get the money and reinvest it in another player for 20-30 million who will have better output and a higher ceiling. For me, he's just an average player. And unfortunately, I mean, he's not one of my favorites. But then again, he scored yesterday, so you have to give him credit where he's due. So I'm giving him a 6. He was offside at least 5 times. Come on.
I disagree.
I can't agree. Yeah, I can't agree with that simply because look, Tony's just showing you the goal. He was clearly onside. But the thing is, it sounds like you're doing what Tony was talking about, like a preconception of previous games he's played.
But
in this game,
5 times in this game.
All right, hold on. I just want to make a statement, and then you can push back after. How can you give a guy a 6 who won the game and helped to cause us assisting with the first goal? Yeah, how can you give a guy a 6 who won a game against the league champions? Are you listening to what you're saying?
30 seconds of good play. That's all that he did all game. It was just one moment of brilliance.
Hold on. Aubameyang does that every game. Aubameyang is nowhere to be seen. Yeah. At all.
We gave him a 3. We gave him a 3 last game because he wasn't there. So I'm fair in my ratings, man. Honestly, he didn't do anything all game. He scored in the. I'm giving him a 6 for that, but the rest of the game he was offside.
Wow. Okay. So guys, that's a 6 to a guy who's won the game against the league champions. I can't even say how harsh that is, but you know what? That's your opinion, so we've got to take it at that. But guys, listen.
Nelson was better than Lacazette?
No, I think Lacazette was man of the match. He's my man of the match with Martinez. But as I said, I've given props to Torreira, Nelson, and Lacazette, and the boss has given them props too for the same reasons that I have. Nelson, as David said right there, Nelson was facilitating a full court press for most of the game, and that's what I saw. Yeah, I saw him clogging up the lane. I saw him.
Of any player who's playing there.
No. It's because Pepe wasn't doing it. Yeah, Saka was only half doing it. Yeah, they weren't committing themselves like those 3 players I just mentioned. Those 3 players, Torreira, Lacazette, and Nelson, were the stars of the show yesterday. And the goalkeeper, Martinez and Rob Holding, absolutely fantastic. Yeah, we've got to call it out when they're bad. Let's call them out when they're bad, but when they're good, let's give them props, man. Let's give them props. So, guys, man said Iwobi wasn't good enough. That 40 million ain't good. That 40 million, I'll take that all day long, brother. I'd take it all day long. We're going to talk about Saturday. Just want to get everybody's thoughts around the clock of what they expect.
A win.
Ebony, you want to go first?
I expect to win. Look, what I said earlier is that I hope that this Liverpool win is impetus to going forward against Man City, and we can do it. Everybody, listen. I was optimistic about Liverpool. I said we're going to win. Okay, I didn't call out the score. I just said that we were going to win. I was optimistic, but people were like, "You're going to lose." Blah 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 blah. Fine, fair enough. And had we lost, fine, fair enough. It was to be expected, but we didn't. I'm expecting on Saturday a win against Man City. Man City are beatable. Okay, they've been proven to be beatable, and we can use Liverpool, the win against Liverpool last night, as a springboard to beat Man City. It can be done. All Arteta needs to do is that he needs to get the tactics right, and he needs to get the man marking it against certain players like he did against Liverpool.
Yeah, look, at the end of the day,
than done.
It is. But what frustrates me about this, and what I wanted to see against Liverpool, I kept saying to you guys for months, why is it that when other teams play Liverpool, they'll draw them 1-0 or they'll lose 1-0? When we play Liverpool, we get blown out 3-0, 4-0. That to me is a problem. Now Arteta's here, that problem doesn't seem to be as abundant as it was under Emery and Wenger. Yeah, if you go to Bayern Munich in the Champions League and lose 5-1 home, lose 5-1 away, that's a problem. I don't think with a manager like Arteta that is possible, because he just has a certain philosophy and the way he runs his system that the team doesn't have that many holes or weaknesses. And sure, players will make mistakes. My point is this.
Hang on.
Don't tell me to hang on. I ain't made my point yet. I haven't made my point yet. Yeah.
You just said a statement. The team doesn't have.
I haven't made my point yet, Tony. I haven't made my point yet. Yeah. So my point is that when you play a team like Manchester City and we keep losing 3-0, 3-1, 4-0, which we have, yeah, they just lost a couple of days ago to Bournemouth 2-1, and Bournemouth nearly drawed at the end of that. This is where I challenge Arsenal. Why can't we play games against the top teams like that? And that's why I challenged them against Liverpool last night. I was like, none of this 3-0, 4-0 loss against top teams. Why can't? Yes, because of mistakes. But I want to see us play a game error-free and play them toe-to-toe. Bournemouth nearly drawed. Bournemouth only lost 2-1. They could have finished 2-2. And that's the performance I want to see on Saturday. I want to see a performance where guys are not making those stupid mistakes and they're accountable, because if we can't find those performances against top teams like this, then we are well and truly broken, guys.
But don't forget, Man City, when they're playing Bournemouth, they're in holiday mode as well. I know they've got the semi-final against us to think about, but they're also thinking, well, this is a nothing game. This is an absolute nothing game. And you know what? I must not get injured, because the cup semi, I must be 100% ready for that. So they turn up at Bournemouth and they're like, you know what? We're just going to go through the motions. This is a training ground exercise for us. Yeah, let's work on stuff that we do in the training ground. But under no circumstances shall we exert ourselves to the case of saying we could potentially get injured.
Because, guys, remember, they beat Newcastle.
A team that are fighting for their life.
Yeah, remember, guys, they beat Newcastle. Look, Bertram's coming into the street now.
I had to come in.
Yeah, Bertram's
I had to come in. I'm in the gym. Yeah. I'm in the gym working out, and I'm trying to type at the same time. And I hear the mess of discussion. I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" I was more disappointed about this game.
Woo!
But this game, I was about Tottenham game. I was more disappointed about Liverpool game than Tottenham game, and we won.
Yeah.
I think you guys are confusing things, which is I'm thinking about next year where we're going. I'm thinking about the immediacy of now. And we looked like schoolboys, like a like a pub team against Liverpool. We did nothing. Nobody gets a 7. Sorry, and we won. None. We were in the game. Guys, wait. We were in the game.
Right, so listen to what you just said. You said nobody gets a 7 and we won against the league champions.
I thought, I can't. Martinez get a 7. Martinez actually probably gets 7+ every single game. That save was out of world.
It was
out of world save. That's not a normal save. You're talking about it's a great save. No, ridiculous save.
So again, let's listen to what you just said. Nobody gets a 7, but you've just given the goalkeeper a 7 against the league champions who we haven't beaten in 5 years.
No, but you have to understand. That's why he gets a 7, because he helps to prevent us from losing the game with that save. That ball was in the top corner. It's a goal. But guys, think about this. Were we ever in the game? We won 2 goals that Liverpool never gives away. Van Dijk never creates those situations. We won. Yes, we won. Are we happy?
Okay.
Really?
Bertram, I'm going to give you a year and I'm going to give you a game, and then I'm not going to say anything. 2005 FA Cup final, Man United. The worst performance.
We had a better team. We had a good team. We had a good team.
It don't matter that we had a good team. We were shit that game. We were awful.
Apollo.
We were absolutely dreadful.
Okay, so Liverpool was shit yesterday. Liverpool was crap yesterday. That's the comparison you're making. Liverpool was crap yesterday because they didn't score. They didn't win the game.
Yeah. Bertram, what I'm saying is this, which is what I've been saying for the whole podcast. When a team does bad and lose, you have to tell it like it is. When a team does bad and they win, you have to give them props because of one thing. There was an element of tactics from Arteta to pressure the back line and the central holding midfielder, Fabian, yeah? That worked. Regardless of what we want to say about that performance, and you're right, the performance was shit. Yeah, I had to type for 90 minutes that display yesterday, and I wasn't enjoying myself. And African Guna will tell you, because he was reading what I was typing in, I weren't enjoying it. And if you go back and read the transcript, you wouldn't believe that I was excited, because I wasn't. I was embarrassed watching that, to be honest with you. But we won, yeah, and that is what you have to do you got to call it out when the team win. For a reason, and they did win for a reason. They won because of the pressure on the back line.
No, Apollo, please.
Sorry, I can't do that, Bertram. I can't do it.
Okay, so Apollo, here's the thing. So if we lost and played well, I would have felt better. I say, you know what? We can compete with the big boys. Man U, Chelsea, Man City. I watched Man City Liverpool game, right? Man City Liverpool game was a very tactical game. Man City press up the half line. Liverpool play over the top. They got beaten by 4. They were in the game. We won and we weren't in the game. Do you see that irony there? They got 4, beat nothing, and they were in the game.
Well, Bertram, I'd like to answer that. Not only do I see it, but I've lived it. I've lived under the tension of the last 10 years where Arsenal couldn't win a trophy in a decade. We were consistently, remember the name, Three Musketeers. We consistently had the midfield with Fabregas, Rosicky, Nasri. We were outplaying peak teams in the midfield. We had Van Persie up top. Yeah, we had the best defense in the calendar year 2015 with Coughlin at defensive back, Mertesacker and Koscielny at centre back, and we couldn't win for shit. And we would go in the Champions League and lose games like 5-1 consistently to Bayern Munich. So I know everything about what it's like to play well and lose. I've been living that life as an Arsenal fan.
Apollo, we were enjoying our football. Apollo, I hate to tell you this, but you and I were enjoying our football those days. We weren't winning, I agree, but we go to the game and say, you know what? It's Burnley. We're going to have fun today. It is Sheffield, going to have fun today. If it's Man U, it's going to be tough. If it's Chelsea and the Marino, it's going to be tough. But we weren't going to games like, okay, we're going to play Liverpool. Oh, my God. I hope we don't get 6. And we won, and I walked away saying, we need to bomb up this team and totally annihilate this team and restart because we didn't compete.
I'm so glad you brought this up, Bertram, because this brings me to a point that me and Irfan had yesterday on our chat about where are Arsenal in the league now. Listen, this team here has got as much to worry about from teams placed 10th to 18th, 19th as we have from teams placed 8th to 5th. We are not even close to that team that Bertram is alluding to. Back in them days when we lost, we still had a good team. This team is not good.
But the point is, guys, look, the point is this team has put in some, we've heard somebody say we played well against Tottenham and lost. Look, against Leicester City, we can't have it both ways, guys. When you beat good teams and play bad, you take it. The one thing this team has not been able to do is win ugly. And when we win ugly, we're still not happy. Come on, look, 7 days ago,
Apollo. Winning ugly, wait,
we played Leicester City, and Leicester City, we played them off the park. And what happened?
Apollo, there's one thing, Apollo, we're competing against Liverpool, Man City, Man U, and Chelsea. That's our competition. Not Wolves, not Leicester, not Burnley, not Sheffield United. I'm sorry, but they're not. We're Arsenal, for Christ's sake. You're lowering our standards. We're Arsenal.
We're not Arsenal. We're not Arsenal. We're a mid-table team. Get real.
Well, no. When our brand is Arsenal, our brand is Arsenal.
It is our brand, but look, try and tell that to an AC Milan fan. They're not buying it. Try and tell that to a Monaco fan. Try and tell that to a Lyon fan. It don't matter what you did back in the day, yeah? The African Guna, you're too quiet for my liking. Come in.
And
everybody also.
I also see where
At the end of the day, go.
No, I was just gonna say. I mean, I see where Bertram is coming from, 100%. But Apollo is right, Bertram. I mean, regardless of if it was pretty or not, yes, we shouldn't get too excited. But a win is a win. I slept nice and easy last night. I mean, I wasn't upset. I wasn't frustrated. Regardless of the performance, the result is the most important thing. But the main thing is not.
Oh, see, guys, you're describing ugly in the wrong way. It wasn't ugly. Ugly when you don't play. No. Ugly is when you don't play well. You don't play well. We weren't playing. Wait, there's difference between not playing well and winning, and just not being there. We're playing backs and forward. You kick the ball to the offense. They pressure me. I kick it back to them. That was the game. That's not a football game. That's men against boys.
Yeah, but even though we lost, we still won. Yeah, no, we didn't play very well. We didn't play well at all.
No one's disagreeing with you, great. I don't think there's any person here that has said you're wrong. But what they're saying to you is, Jesus Christ, enjoy the victory. Enjoy the win.
I can't. Because I'm thinking forward. I'm thinking, you know what? Okay, Man City started. That's what I'm thinking. Sterling, Mahrez, De Bruyne, Rodrigo, Fernandinho. That's what I'm thinking. Saturday, team.
How many times have Man City lost with those players?
No. Man City has wiped the play. Wait. Listen. No. The difference between us, guys. No. Tony, what happened the last time 2 times they played us? What happened the 2 times they played us? The last 2 times they played. What happened? We were left against Liverpool.
Hey, I just want to bring some banter and some jokes to the table. Do you remember when we were together on Sunday and we all 5 of us were saying how many goals is Aubameyang going to score in the next 2 games against Liverpool and Man City, and they don't even play him. and not just that, but Lacazette. Yeah, because we chastise Aubameyang for not scoring against big teams. Lacazette has scored a goaldie against Spurs and then scores again against Liverpool. Oh man!
I think he's getting his confidence back, which is good. He's getting his confidence back because goals do that to forward, right? He's feeling much more comfortable. He's playing well, actually. He's been playing well. He just not put the ball in the net. He's a good player.
I agree.
But we're gonna sell him and get some midfielders.
We're not selling him.
Bertrand, while you're here, can you give us your opinion on the red card as well? Oh shit, I can't. I've got rid of the picture. So you all saw it anyway. On the potential red card from Trent Alexander's tackle on Saka. I've just got rid of the picture.
The problem was when they showed the video here in the States, they showed it about 3 times, and it didn't seem like it was a full contact. But when you watch it on like Sky Sports, I have access to all these media forums. Right?
Yeah, here it is.
It didn't seem as bad when they first showed it. This make it looks bad, right? And slow motion does that. But play full speed. Can you play full speed?
No, because I'm not.
It didn't seem like he made full contact. So he made contact. It didn't seem as significant as we saw. But Nketiah to me one was subjective. Nketiah's red was subjective to me. At full speed, it didn't seem as bad as we put in slow motion.
The other point that I made, you were probably listening to this in the live stream as well. The other point I made is there wasn't a scratch on the player's sock with Nketiah's tackle. It was barely any contact. And on this, obviously, you saw the big gash mark on the back of his sock. But what concerns me is A, there was no VAR review. B, the FA have the ability to review a decision after the game's played and still submit a suspension. None of that has happened.
Well, I think my biggest concern actually was Vardy. Vardy's kick was deliberate. You don't swing your foot like that up. And it was in his face. Vardy to me was a clear red card. It's ridiculous that the FA doesn't want to rescind certain decisions because the referee made a decision already. They don't rescind the decision when the red card may be wrong, but they don't want to give a red card out or meet a punishment out when it's clear that Vardy did it deliberately. There's no subjectivity about that. And that was a little bit disturbing. I'm not blaming VAR because people saying VAR, something's wrong with VAR. Something's wrong with the people who are reviewing.
Yeah, that's what I've always said.
Making decisions. Yeah. It's not the system. The system is good.
Yeah.
And the system is not going back, guys, because in the States here, as you know, this is innate to what we do nowadays. People would lose their mind if you change it, and it should be the same, actually.
There's too much money in the game, Bertram. Too much money in the game.
They need to retrain all the referees. That's what needs to happen. A boot camp.
Like I said earlier, there's a reason why there were no Premier League referees in the World Cup 2 years ago. It's because all shit.
So, guys, let's get some predictions on, and guys in the chat as well. There's 20 of you watching. Let's get some predictions on the Man City score on Saturday. And let me also, 2 things. One is please hit a like on this video. It really helps me out. Thirdly, actually, we are going to be live streaming the Manchester City game as a watch along. We're all going to be sitting here and watching the emotions go flying by as the game goes on, whether it's good or whether it's bad. We have to fess up. And so,
yes, let's be careful, though. Let's be careful. Let's not have a Claude situation occur amongst ourselves.
That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen.
Listen, because I have some young viewers on the show. As you guys know, I don't swear on my channel. We already heard Ebony lose it today, man, with her Wi-Fi. So, and if that's the Wi-Fi, I can't wait to hear on Saturday against Arsenal.
You don't want. Trust me. If we're really bad, you will hear the profanity coming out of my mouth.
I try not to. I type my responses. I try not to speak.
So guys, let's hear your score predictions. Tony, you go first.
Well. So this is an interesting one because at the start of the season, or the start of the restart, I predicted that we would lose to Man City dismally and then go on an unbeaten run because I thought we could beat every other team. And I made a prediction that we beat Liverpool because I thought they would already be on holiday. So I got that correct score. But I didn't anticipate Man City again. So, they're the only team I thought we don't have a chance in hell. And I got to be honest, I still don't think we got a chance in hell. However, it's an FA Cup semi-final. It's in our home stadium. Yeah? It's in our home stadium. And we just don't lose at Wembley very often. So somehow we're gonna get a result. I see some magic happening. I see somebody fumbling in their back four and that's capitalizing. You know, the problem with this game is Wembley is a massive pitch. It's really humongous. And it suits teams who can just play with intricacy, with patterns of movement, where people just know he's gonna do. You know when you watch Pep in the box, and there's certain times in the game he just start doing this, and he's selling them ticky tacky, yeah, and they start playing that breed of football, and it just makes the opposition just go, what the fuck are we? Excuse me, what are we doing? We're running around like headless chickens trying to chase a ball, and they just have a knowledge of where they're gonna be. That is something that Arteta has got his work cut out between now and Saturday to work out how we're going to stop that happening on the expansive Wembley pitch. But it's our pitch. It's our competition. It's our cup. We can win this. We can win this. So
you're hyping yourself over there. I see.
I know, brother.
Hey,
you're gonna get hurt, bro. You're gonna get hurt.
Hey, he already bumped up my score on Martinez. I'm not allowing him to go that much further for me today, man.
I'm so conflicted because I know we should get run off the park, but somehow we're gonna scrape a 1-0 win. We're gonna do it. Please, Arsenal.
Oh my God! Yeah, I'm gonna have to get what do you call it when you get the swear box and everything? Actually, oh God,
Bleeper.
Right, let's see what the guys are saying. So we've got Style is going with Manchester City 3, Arsenal 1. Alex is going with Man City 4, Arsenal 2. 18's going with Man City 4, Arsenal 0. Actually, Ashik's going with 2-0 Arsenal. Yeah, I'm going to remember that. Yeah. Nitesh is going with 2 draw, and we will win on penalties.
We barely
Kuka
have
is
any
going-
penalty kickers. I mean, look at City's team. Their whole team, even their goalkeeper is a better penalty kicker than some of our players.
Hey,
Man.
listen, there's all these rule changes this year about 5 subs and everything else. Maybe we can ask them to get Pepe to take 5 penalties in a row. That might work.
Yes.
So we've got David is going. Is that Apollo versus Man City there? Or oh no, it's Man City 3-1. D is going 3-0, the bare minimum. This man said minimum. You know why he's saying that, guys? For that's a trope actually, because the average score between Arsenal and Manchester City games in the last 8 games is, guess what? 3-0.
3-0.
Yeah. So that's a consistent. Anybody who wants to put a couple of quid on that, Tom Aston, I'm talking to you. Game is at Wembley, yes. The last time we played them in the final, we got beaten 3-0 in the League Cup. So let's remember that for a second. Where we are. Okay, so Ebony, over to you.
Right, 2-1 Arsenal. Shut up, don't care.
Big time. Yeah, look, she just dropped the mic as well on that. Big
Put it this way.
time.
I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Man City have lost with all their best players. Your Sterlings, your De Bruynes, your Silvers, etc., etc. We can do this if we take the same impetus that we did against Liverpool. No, we didn't play well. We didn't play well, but if we take that momentum, knowing full well that we've beaten a top 4 side, we can do it again on Saturday. Why not? Why not? Everybody was saying that we were going to lose against Liverpool last night. We didn't. All right, we got lucky, but that's not the point. The point is, if Arteta can mark out Liverpool, he can mark out Man City. I don't care.
He didn't, though.
2-1.
He didn't.
Wow.
He didn't mark out Liverpool.
Okay, guys. Okay, guys. I want to tie this
to a
up.
certain extent.
I want to tie this up in the next 4 minutes. So I'm gonna throw in 2 intangibles. One is that we got away with murder last night, and lightning don't strike twice in the same week, and certainly not for Arsenal fans. At the same time, though, when we lost to City 3-0, when we came back from lockdown, this team obviously was off the pace, way off the pace, and that showed, unfortunately. And I think that we're going to be better because we went on a run after we lost to them and Brighton, and we've looked a much better team since we lost to Brighton and Man City. But I still think, considering what we saw last night, was absolutely horrible. I get that we didn't have Ceballos, and I get that Pepe just didn't care, and I get that we're going to be better because hopefully the starting 11 is going to be better. But I still can't see us winning. I'm going to go with a 2-1 win to Man City. Let African Guna.
This is classic Arsenal. What they do to you is they make you hope, and then they smash you into pieces. And clearly, no one has learned their lesson. I mean, this is a repetitive cycle with Arsenal for the last 5 years. So for me, Bertram, the other day, Bertram was saying to give your realistic prediction and your heart prediction. So my heart prediction is 2-1 Arsenal because, of course, I'm an Arsenal fan and I want Arsenal to win. My realistic prediction is 3-1 City. Sterling definitely going to be on the score sheet. Aguero also going to be on the score sheet. And Aubameyang also going to be on the score sheet. There's no way in hell. I don't care if there's 2 Martinez in goal that we're keeping a clean sheet. So, yeah, just don't have your hopes up, guys, because if we get smashed, it's just going to be worse for you. I'm talking to you, Tony. I know you think it's our home and stuff, but it doesn't really matter. This is City we're talking about. We're gonna smash us.
Guys, look what Ashok just put down. Hey, Ashok, if Mustafi's playing, then I'm gonna shift from a 2-1 win to City to probably a 3-0. Yeah, probably 3-0. Because every time Mustafi plays, they win 3-0. So I think you've got to change the narrative, change the personnel, and you might get a different result there. Bertram, you got the conch.
So I'm going to contradict myself. So and here's no, this is the argument though. So even though yesterday's performance was atrocious, here is the positive thing out of the game. Our passing was way off. David Luiz was spraying ball as we never played football before. My hope is that be better. City's defense is not as good as Liverpool, and my hope is that the Peppers of the world can catch them off guard in the back. I don't think the Ceballos thing works, and people don't realize the team we played yesterday was good because Torreira and Xhaka are playing defense, so the middle is really compact. Ceballos like to move around, and when he does, those space open up and City pulls you all over the place. That makes it much more dangerous when not as compact to prevent them from penetrating us. Martinez, Ebony, I bow to you. He's ridiculous. He's ridiculously good. I'm serious. I've been watching him for the last 4 or 5 games. Ridiculously good. The way he's playing.
Wait. Don't forget what he almost gave away a free goal.
Oh, come on. Free kicks happen to everyone. It happened to Liverpool keeper. It happens to 3 teams we play against this season. Every keeper does that this season. We have scored 3 goals like that. Bayern scored 2. It happens, right? He got complacent, and he's in the semifinal. Martinez is not our problem. Our problem is Aubameyang, and our problem would be Ceballos. I'm telling you, Aubameyang going to play with Fifi's like it. If he start losing, he put his head down. So I think counting his money at Real Madrid or Barcelona where he's going. My prediction is same like African Gunner. My heart wants 2-1. I think the score is going to be 3-1. I do think we're going to play really compact. Bellerin will come back in to replace Suarez. We will have Tierney at left back, and Saka and Tierney plays really well on that side because Saka worked his socks off in the game. That's why we look so good defensively. Saka is working. Torreira, even though he's unfit, is working really hard, and Xhaka is working. And Liverpool, even though they dominated us, didn't get a lot of clear-cut chances, right? We saw Mane scoring. We saw Salah put Luiz on his you-know-what and almost scored. But they weren't 10, 15 clear-cut goals, even though they took 20-something shots. Yeah, so you can walk away and say, you know what? That compact nature of how we're playing will give us a puncher's chance. But it has to be George Foreman against. It looks like George Foreman against Fraser in Jamaica.
Yeah, I think a third of the shots, nearly a third of the shots, 9 of the shots were outside the area. So that's a good.
Yeah, and the one good shot they took was his name on the right fullback who has a ridiculous right foot. Yeah, and even that deflected. And Martinez has it covered. So look, City is very tough, right? City's on a roll. They have survived FFP. They're thinking Champions League. They want to add to their trophy case. We're just in the storm. We're right in the face of that storm, which is they want to just brush us aside. But we have to go in with a conviction to win. And I'm encouraged by the fact, you know what? Liverpool only scored 1. Regardless of how they dominated us, and granted, I still say we were atrocious, we still prevented them from scoring more than 1 goal. So my hope is that we'll win and come up with a 2-1, but I think it's going to be 3-1. And we can actually win by maybe have someone put some in the food for Sterling and De Bruyne and Mahrez, and maybe that will help us. But I don't see much help.
Pizzagate. Remember Pizzagate?
Yeah, Pizzagate.
Or Lasagna Gate.
Guys, Cool K, I just received it. Please put your donations on where you see the chat box. There's a $sign there, and click that and then put it in there. Don't inbox it to me because, first of all, I won't be able to see it, and secondly, the whole part of this is to show your appreciation for the channel. So you don't need to hide the appreciation for the channel. Yeah. So if you make a donation, please do it the proper way. Otherwise, it causes all kind of problems with YouTube. So that's the reason why it's put on there. Guys,
and before you go, I want to say about Nelson, which is I am not hating on Nelson. I think Nelson has some potential, but Nelson, I watched him in the game. He was offside 4 times. That's 4 turnovers. Like Xhaka making 4 bad passes, guy. You don't realize that an offside is a turnover to the opposition. They get the ball back, right? That's 4 Xhaka's bad passes, and if it was Xhaka did that, Apollo, you would destroy him. So that's turnover 4 times. He doesn't look. It's not his fault. Yesterday, probably I should take a step back.
Yeah,
not a good game to judge. Not a good game to judge. No, but it wasn't a good game to judge because we weren't in the game. Pepe was worse, frankly.
Yeah, he's a development player, and when you see things like that, you know that the manager's going to be looking at film and going through that. Remember, he sends them films to study on what they did right and things that they did wrong, and that's what they work on the training field. And I know the fact that he's come out 4 times and said that Nelson and Saka and Martinelli. These are development players. Smith Rowe, he's working really hard on these guys to upgrade them into the players that he wants them to be. And look, not all of them are going to make it. We're not sitting here saying this guy's going to be the next blah, blah, blah. And that's the reason why, although they talked about, both of them, Arteta and Nelson, both talked about what he did to Sterling, how he helped develop De Bruyne, Mendy. David Silva is 33 years old, and David Silva was still singing his praises. But it's not going to happen with everybody. What we need to do as fans is give them the platform and the support that they need in order to grow. And I'm willing to do that. And so I want to see him play more. For me, he hasn't even played enough. I'd like to see Nelson play more. So as long as...
by the way, you guys should stop knocking Willock. So every time Willock missed a goal, you have to be in a position to get the chance to score. Which other midfielder is getting to those positions? Willock runs his socks off when he plays. He scored one goal. He's then come close to scoring another goal.
Yeah, he's got 5 goals already.
No, guys, you have to get chances to score. You can't score without getting a chance. Eventually, he'll score, like he did against Liverpool.
1 out of 10.
How much Sabala score all season? How much Sabala score all season?
Yeah, but Joe Willock has played much more than...
No, African Gona, don't change the discussion. Well, how many has he scored all season?
1.
Okay.
And actually 2, and a really important goal.
Yeah, but Willock doesn't play as much as he does. He starts.
Hold on, guys. How important was scoring last night as a 20-year-old against the league champions? Come on, man. I can't even believe what I'm hearing.
No. Nelson took his goal really well.
Yeah, we said
Nelson took his goal really well. No, I didn't hear that. I was on the machine, sorry. Nelson took his goal really, really well, and I'm very encouraged by that. Having said that, he's not ready. As I said, Jamaica, I'm not ready.
Yeah. Listen,
as I said,
we need to push City. You're right.
That goal with Pepe standing 5 yards away with an open goal.
Yeah, we're having a different conversation. I know, bro. Me and you, seriously, me and you, bro. We're having a different conversation.
I'm not passing that ball. I'm Nelson, because the glory, you get the glory when you take risks in life. You get the glory. Yeah. There's no glory in passing that.
He got it. Could you imagine how much confidence that does for him? He scored the goal that took down the champions. Great achievement for the guy. And I wish him well. I don't know what the team's going to be on Saturday, but we're going to talk about that when we get there. Guys, remember again, Saturday we're going to be doing a live watch along. So look, for real. Yeah. Listen, I believe it. I believe the guy. I believe any player can do it as long as they have the passion, the ability, and the mindset to achieve. The ones that don't achieve, it's for one of those reasons, plus the fact that they can't stay fit. So as long as you're switched on, look, kiss the sky.
So even Xhaka has hope.
Xhaka's not a development player.
Development player. Okay.
Xhaka's already hit his ceiling. He can't get better than what you got there. So, guys, that's it. Any closing arguments from you guys?
We're going to win.
Yeah. In regards to what we were just saying, in terms of development players, for me, it goes Martinelli, Saka, Nketiah, Reece Nelson, Joe Willock at the same level. So that's where I rank it. And 100%, I mean, I agree with you.
Smith Rowe.
Yeah, Smith Rowe, but he's not in the team right now, so we need to see where he's at. He's been out of the team for 6 months. Let him come back in, and then we can put him into that ranking. But I do think, Apollo, in terms of what you were saying, I think that's weak mentality. We don't have the time to play a development player against Liverpool when we're 9th in the league. We need ready-made players.
We can't get ready-made players. We don't have the money, bro.
I feel we don't have the money. There's two reasons why. There's two reasons why we're not going to attract the players that we really want. Number one, we're not in the Champions League. We probably won't even get to the Europa League.
Yeah, we're not even.
And number three, we don't have them. We don't have any money. Or maybe Stan Kroenke does have any money, given those bonds that everyone's talking about, but he doesn't want to spend it. He doesn't want to invest in the club.
Yeah, and that's fine if he doesn't want to spend it, as long as he leaves the 160 million transfer kitty alone. That money is set in stone because of the stadium deal, the Adidas deal, the Rwanda, the Indesit. All those deals are specifically for the transfer, and that has been promised for years for us. And they have delivered on the Arsenal Supporters Trust with those promises.
Guys, isn't enough. basically, as far as I'm concerned. It's nowhere near enough to where
there's nothing we can do about that, Ebony.
So, guys, there's a reason why they refinanced the debt, right? There's a reason why they refinanced the debt. There's a reason why they refinanced the debt, right? They do want to play in the transfer market this year. They freed up all that money which they had held as collateral for whatever reason to probably allow it to be part of transfer money. They will have some money to spend. They're just playing chicken. With just like Man U is doing, because they have a lot of commercial revenue, Man U.
Yeah.
But I do think we'll have some money to spend, and we're gonna buy some free. We're gonna pursue the players like Sarr and all those. They want to come to look. People want to live in London. I mean, Manchester has had sun in 3 weeks. Why would they go to Manchester to live?
Exactly.
Let's be honest, guys. Let's be honest.
Exactly.
If Manchester City can get away with what they just got away with, we should be spending a whole week of money.
Well, there you go.
No, bro, with
There
our
you
luck,
There
and
you
the
go.
red cards, we wouldn't have got away with that. We would have had a 12-point deduction. We would have a. We would have got thrown out of Europe.
Money talks, BS walk.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
with our luck, we would have got thrown out of Europe for 5
Their
years.
trousers was round their ankles, brother. It was round their ankles, and they still managed to pull it off.
Because you can buy anyone, you can do that. You can buy the judges.
You can buy anyone.
You can buy the tribunal. You can buy anyone.
Yeah. Hey, Bertram, what was the saying in New York where it said it's better to be rich and guilty than poor and innocent?
Yeah. Well, I mean, being poor is never good, right? No matter how good no matter how healthy you are, you can't buy anything when you're poor. So money makes it go around. It's disappointing that they haven't gotten penalized, frankly. Because no one will want to now be subjected to FFP. Doesn't mean anything. It's lost whatever it was trying to achieve. And frankly, you know what? They should open it up. Forget about it. We should go to Bezos, by whatever his name is from Amazon. We should go to Zuckerberg and say, you know what? You got a couple billion to splur around. You can appreciate your assets. Come buy Arsenal. Convince Kroenke to sell it. Kroenke doesn't want to. Kroenke's not a good. He's not a rich billionaire. If that makes sense. He's not a rich billionaire. There are rich billionaires and there's regular billionaires.
Yeah.
Kroenke doesn't have any ambition for the club.
Don't go there.
Kroenke doesn't have any ambition for the club.
Fella's made in this so-called.
But here's what you guys don't realize, right? Liverpool is not spending a lot of money because Liverpool owners are hedge funds. Hedge fund is not in the business to waste money. You go in, you buy an asset for 5-7 years. You let it appreciate and you get rid of it. I'm surprised they still have Liverpool, frankly.
Yeah.
So maybe it's the owners who are running it. Maybe Henry and others have more money in it because most hedge fund owners and limited partners are not into getting in love with an asset. They hold it for 7 years, they get capital gains and they sell it. So I'm a little bit surprised they still have it. Having said that, they have a world-class team and they haven't spent net world-class money.
True.
They use Suarez money and Coutinho money to fund some of their transfers.
All right, guys, I'm trying to shut it down at the moment. So where can we find you guys? Where can we find you, Tony?
On the gram, on Twitter, on YouTube, Pugilist Boy, Tailoring Business at Taylor's Roll, at Roll Tailors.
Excellent. Ebony, where can we find you?
101 page, Insta, Facebook, Twitter.
La African Gooner?
You can find me at Twitter at La African Gooner and my YouTube channel, La African Gooner, and you'll find me on the 101 Arsenal match thread.
Excellent. Bertram?
You can find me Sunday in my couch just reminiscing about the good old Arsenal and wondering why we get mauled by City.
Oh man, we're gonna have to do our favorite. We're gonna do our favorite Arsenal memory soon. And guys, most importantly, all of you in the chat, I appreciate you guys spending this time with us. And I can't wait to see you guys on Saturday. And I don't know what your plans are for the Man City semi-final game, but you can do the live watch along here with us and have us spend some time with you while you're watching the game. And maybe you might be able to bring us some great luck. So that's it, guys. From the gang, we're out. Peace, and I'm out. Nice one, right back at ya.
Back to the gym. Back to the gym. I had to cut my workout short. Guys. Take care, guys.
Good guy, guys.
Bye-bye.
Excellent.
Take care.